Michigan sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. And now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Remember that. Hello and welcome into the Ben Bosscher Show, live here on, well, not 100.9 The Mitt. We're live on YouTube, live on Facebook once again today. We are rocking and rolling with our studio being rebuilt, so we don't really have any time to waste. Like we talked about yesterday, we'll be back in studio the Monday after the Super Bowl is like a lock. Hopefully it's before then, but even right across this wall, they're working on it as we speak. So we're excited to be here with you, even if it's just on YouTube, even if it's from this suite, because we still got a lot to get to. Michigan State in action tomorrow. We've got our spread on that officially. I want to talk about Penei Sewell because he officially got nominated for an award, first ever NFL Protector of the Year award. Yeah, we're going to talk some offensive linemen. I want to compare Penei Sewell to just some of the all-time greats with the Detroit Lions. Where does he stack up against them already at just the age of 25 years old? We'll get to around the league. We'll get to some Pistons alternatives because I feel like I put it in the audience's head that it's Michael Porter Jr. or bust. I don't think that's the case. I think there is a couple other alternatives that maybe aren't as mainstream that we can jump into that I'd be excited about if the Pistons did at the deadline, which is, what, a week from today? We're getting really close.
It is a week from today, yeah.
Getting really close. Let's start with the Michigan State game. Kyle, you texted me yesterday and you said, we've got our spread. Michigan is favored by 1.5 points. What was your first reaction to that?
Surprised. I definitely thought that it was going to be Michigan by 3.5. That was my prediction, and I felt pretty confident in it. So you're probably hearing, well, your surprise was 2 points off of what you thought. But, I don't know, a game like this, I think that it's so easy to predict exactly what you think it's going to be. Michigan State almost lost at Rutgers, and Michigan was coming off of, 11.5 point favorites against Nebraska. You gave an undefeated team in the end of January their first loss of the year. At the end of the day, that's an impressive win. And Michigan, mainly the reason why I thought it would be them by 3.5 was because of how much the books have loved them this season, right? I mean, every time we've done a spread, you've never picked them for lock of the day because why would you? They're 20-point favorites against every team they play against. And so I figured that it would be Michigan by about 3.5. I guess I understand it, though, because everyone's going to see this line and be like, well, Michigan State is 3.5-point underdogs, so you got to make it a little bit tighter. Neither team has plus money on the money line. So, yeah, I was surprised. What about you?
I think my initial reaction was also a little bit surprised. But as I predicted yesterday, I thought this was going to be a Michigan 5.5 spread. And when I actually saw Michigan was 1.5, I think a lot of my thoughts from earlier this week went out the window. And suddenly I was just thinking, Michigan State's home dogs? Michigan State's really going to be home dogs in this matchup. A matchup that they've won 4 straight games in, that they have not lost in since 2018. I was trying to find Tom Izzo's record as an underdog at home the last 10 years. I couldn't quite find it. This is the number 1 defense in the country. Michigan State shuts down the other team from the outside. Michigan has not been able to hit a 3 all month. They're sub 30% for the month of January. I'm starting to lean towards the Spartans. I'm not going to lie. We're a day removed. Maybe I'll zag again, but as of right now, that defense that they bring to the table, that home court advantage that they have, when I saw that they were officially underdogs, I guess I just became a little bit surprised.
So is that why you're leaning towards MSU, though, because of the fact that they are underdogs? If it would have been MSU by 1.5, would you have a different opinion here, or is it strictly just based off of the basketball stuff?
I don't think it's strictly because they're underdogs, but when they do, officially put that spread out, it's like, hey, we think Michigan's going to win this game. Even if the spread's pretty low, it's that 1.5. It's just like, man, I just don't really know if Michigan State should ever be underdogs at home. And then again, the 3-point stuff with Michigan right now, the fact that Michigan State has the number one defense in the country, and it's not just because they have a lot of individual great defenders. You could come at me if you want, if you think I'm wrong on this. I don't really know if Michigan State has a ton of on-ball incredible defenders. It's just hustle. It's communication. It's all 5 guys on the defense playing like they're on a string with each other. That's the stuff that makes Michigan State so impressive. And, yeah, they're going to press you once you cross half court, too, and force a ton of turnovers along the way. I just feel like Michigan's also coming off this extremely taxing mentally win from Tuesday, where they're riding this high emotionally from beating Nebraska. It takes everything they have to beat Nebraska, who is missing their two of their 3 top scorers of the night as well. That we see this in the NFL all the time when a team like primetime matchup beats Kansas City, and then the following week they kind of just lay an egg to Miami. I'm talking about the Bills from this past season. We see this all the time, and I'm wondering if Michigan's going to suffer from this, where it's like, hey, they had a huge game on Tuesday. They're still not necessarily riding the high, but, man, they took everything that they had. Are they still going to have enough left in the tank from Tuesday to go toe-to-toe with the Spartans in what I believe is the most difficult place to play in the Big Ten, the Breslin Center on Friday? I don't know.
I mean, you could make the same argument the other way around, though, right? It took literally everything for Michigan State to come back and beat Rutgers. They went into overtime. They played longer than Michigan did against Nebraska. They did it on the road. They were losing late in the game. Like, at least Michigan, it was a one-possession game basically the whole way down the stretch. MSU had to fork a crazy comeback against a bad team. And so I think you could say the same thing about both of those teams. The difference is between your comparison with the NFL is you're not going to play Miami. You're not going to play the Jets. You're playing your biggest game of the season now. I know that all the teams are going to have the cliche mindset, and it's not cliche because it is the mindset they should have, but you're focused on the game in front of you. Well, now that this game is the game in front of you, you can take a step back and realize, I guarantee everybody on that Michigan State team has been thinking about this game for quite some time. With all the hype that Michigan has gotten all season long, Dusty May's the best coach in college basketball. They have the best guy from the transfer portal. They have this crazy good team that beats everybody by 1,000 points. You know that is something that they've been thinking about for some time. Michigan, I don't know if that's something they've been thinking about for some time because they seem to have a much more big picture mindset.
There's not really any evidence that Dusty May is going to treat this as any other game. Like last year, they were pretty clear. This is just another game. Big picture-wise, we're still trying to, our goals are in the postseason, in March, in the Big Ten tournament. Maybe after what happened last season with how chippy it got on the court with L.J. Carson and Trey Holloman and the guys shoving each other, and then they're kind of throwing digs at each other in the press conferences as well, and Dusty May acting oblivious to the Kiss the Spartan logo tradition. Maybe that does spark a little bit of something from Michigan, but I feel like because they're underdogs and because of the smoke that's been blown up Michigan's butt all season, I feel like Michigan State is kind of the chip on the shoulder team in this matchup.
I mean, I think they are too, and I don't know. This isn't even just me being like a Tom Izzo Spartan person here. I don't really love the mindset in a game like this of this is just another game that Michigan seems to kind of represent. I understand it. Like, I get that Michigan, yeah, you do have bigger goals than just winning some regular season game in the end of January. And it made sense for them last year because they won the Big Ten tournament. So, sure, we'll give them that. But I just don't love that mindset for this game. Like, it is such a huge game. It means so much. And when you do kind of emphasize how important it is, I almost feel like it gets your players more amped up and more ready to go and wanting to win. If you're just saying, it's just another game. Like, we're going to treat it as we do every other game. No, it's not, man. Like, you just know that's a lie, right? I mean, that's just not true. This is not playing Nebraska. This is not playing Minnesota. This is not playing any of those teams. This is the biggest rivalry that either school has.
I think this is, like, way past the football rivalry, too. Like, the basketball rivalry, I didn't realize that there's only been 5 top 10 matchups ever with these two schools. So, like, this is kind of the peak of it. Michigan State's 4-1 in those games. They've won 3 straight because they won 3 top 10 matchups against Michigan in 2019, swept in the season series, and then won again in the Big Ten tournament. Michigan won another one in 2013, and then I think they split in 2013 as well, and that's it. Those are the only top 10 matchups that we've ever had with those two schools.
And they're all in recent history, too, which is pretty cool.
This is the lowest matchup that there's ever been between these two schools. Number 3, number 7, 10 total. There's never been as stakes as high as this one, I don't think.
No, there definitely hasn't. And that's the part that I just think that when you say it's the best rivalry, like especially compared to football, it absolutely is because, one, Michigan State is just, I mean, you know.
We don't have to talk about it.
Exactly. But, two, like, Ohio State is Michigan's football rival, sure. But Ohio State basketball, like, they run through a different coach every 3 years. You know, this rivalry is not only just the best in the state, of course, but it's one of the best in all of college basketball. I think Duke UNC has kind of lost some of its – I mean, it has the legendariness to it, but it's lost a little bit of mojo ever since Coach K and Roy Williams have been gone. And I think Dusty May has kind of brought a new piece to this rivalry with what happened last year, and I think it has kind of even rejuvenated it a little bit.
I can't wait for Friday. We'll probably have a winner about – what is that? 24 plus 12, 36 hours from now?
Sheesh.
I can't wait. I'm really excited. 989-837-6125. The 10 o'clock hour is presented by Corning, but we're in the 9 o'clock hour, which is presented by Iron Stack Technology. They help businesses solve real tech problems securely, efficiently, and without headaches. When your IT is working the way it should, everything else gets a heck of a lot easier. Iron Stack Technology, solution-driven, mission-focused. Find them right here at ironstacktechnology.com. We're going to keep things rolling here on the Ben Bosscher Show, live on YouTube and Facebook today. Please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Here's the thing. We're not even talking to a radio audience today. This is just for our loyal YouTube listeners. So please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, because when you do hit the like button on the lives, I think it just pushes that content out to more people, which means more people can discover it, which means more people can hit that like button, which means it can be discovered by more people, and it's just this snowball effect. So every day if you tap in, we'd appreciate the like here. I think there's some people in the YouTube comments right now that are pushing for that as well. Now I kind of just sound greedy, so I'm going to stop doing that. We'll take a break, come back, and keep rolling with this Michigan stuff. I want to talk about Penei Sewell as well, and some alternatives to the deadline that don't involve Michael Porter Jr. It's all coming up here on the Ben Bosscher Show. Welcome back in. Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mid. To answer your guys' questions in the YouTube, no, this is not our new studio. Our new studio is going to look what did we say yesterday? It was like whatever SoFi cost, it was like 3 times more than that.
It is SoFi Stadium. Like, it's all just a part of a big grand scheme thing.
Yeah. SoFi was like the experiment, and then that was like what, $8 billion?
Yeah.
So they're doing like $20 billion for our new studio across from this wall. That'll be up and running hopefully at the end of next week, if not the Monday after the Super Bowl. All right, let's keep this thing rolling. We'll get into some Lions conversation shortly, but I think one of the biggest things for me with this Michigan State game, and I'm sure we'll jump more into this tomorrow, is Michigan obviously has a better offense that I trust throughout the course of 40 minutes. Last 2 minutes of a game, is it crazy for me to say I just trust the Michigan State infrastructure more of give the ball to Jeremy Fears and let him cook? Because that's kind of what this might come down to me. I don't think anyone is predicting a blowout on either side. And if this does come down to the last couple minutes in East Lansing, I think the form of offense I trust the most is just Michigan State and Jeremy Fears, which sounds ridiculous because Michigan just overall has a better offense according to every single metric to exist. But there's something about these last couple minutes where you can just give the ball to someone and he'll just solve everything. Whereas Michigan, everyone on the team is so focused on the team, which is obviously a good thing. But I think in the last minute of a game, it can hurt you because no one's comfortable being like stepping up and saying, I'm the guy, I'm going to get us a good look. Don't worry, guys. And they don't really have anyone like that inside the huddle. I think they rely on Dusty May, which isn't a knock. It's not a bad thing. But when there is one person on the other team who you kind of just trust to get buckets, I feel like sometimes on the opposing team you need someone to match that. And I'm not really sure who that is for Michigan right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you just because the fact of, like, you obviously trust your guards the most at the end of the games. And it's not like they don't trust Elliot Cadeau, but, like, you look at Elliot Cadeau versus Jeremy Fears, like, I mean, it's pretty obvious who you're taking. And their best guy, I still think their best overall player is Axel Lendenberg. I believe that.
So do I.
But he's not this, like, give me the rock in the late game, I'm going to work and get us a score.
No, most of his points come in transition. They come because someone closes out on him on the three-point line and he's able to attack the basket. It's not like he's, like you said, give him the ball and
right. He's an amazing two-way player that, like, benefits from just good half-court offense. And I think Michigan's half-court offense is straight up better than MSU's.
Of course.
It totally is. And so that's what makes this conversation tough because you just trust the leader more for Michigan State, but the product that we've seen for Michigan is just clearly better. I also do think that, once again, Michigan has at least gotten a couple of these games in lately, but
I love when that happens.
Right, exactly. It's the best. Michigan State has just played in more crunch time games. And it's not that, like, it's not Michigan's fault, but, like, it is going to come down to, like, Michigan on the road in a crunch time game. Has that even happened yet this year? You know? Like,
TCU?
Have we seen them? That wasn't on the road. Like, have we even seen them in that situation? Michigan was at TCU?
Yeah, because they had that super ugly court, I remember.
No, that was Oregon.
They have a super ugly court, too. Let me double check. I thought that one was on the road. But either way, that was a long time ago.
Right, but, like, that's what I'm saying. It's just, like, at least Michigan State has had some of that experience. And I'm not saying that that's, like, going to be the reason what happens with Michigan. But I'm just pretty sure that it's going to help Michigan State even more.
It was on the road. They had this super ugly gray court.
Why did I think that was at home?
I'm surprised your buddy Arbaugh didn't tell you all about that and how awesome their court was.
That's actually a good point, yeah.
Yeah, that's that one's on you. You got to remember that one. I don't know, man. I just think it's kind of crazy that Michigan State it comes down to a couple simple things, and I think Michigan State being underdogs at home is just a little bit crazy. I bet on Michigan State when they were underdogs at home versus Duke at the beginning of the season. Obviously, that didn't work out, but that's because Cam Boozer, Michigan State didn't have an answer for him in the second half. Who's that person on Michigan? Maybe it's Axel Lenderberg, but I just kind of trust Tom Izzo to figure it out, maybe he does just let Axel Lenderberg, or it probably would be Ade Mara. Maybe he just lets Ade Mara go crazy in the paint. That's what they did with Golden last year. Or maybe every time Ade Mara gets a touch, there's three guys doubling down on him, and they're going to test whether or not he's good enough to make the pass to the open guy every single time. And if they're spending energy, coming from different angles, trapping him from different angles to help defend or someone different every time, then I don't know if Ademar is going to figure it out. I think he's a good passer. I wouldn't say he's some Danny Wolf, some adequate passer.
I would be surprised if Michigan State does that. Tom Izzo has a pretty open history of being a stubborn defensive coach where, like, I trust my one-on-one defenders, you know? And I think Carson Cooper, by the way, is, like, extremely better than he was even a year ago. Like, Vlad Golden took him he just gave him buckets in both of those games. But it didn't matter. That was kind of Michigan State's whole ploy. Like, yeah, we'll let you guys let Vlad Golden tax himself and, you know, use all that energy on offense. And so he didn't have a ton of rebounds in either of those games, I remember. And so they also just have never really been a double team the big guy. Like when it was so obvious when Zach Edey was at Purdue.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't matter. Zach Edey dropped 30-plus in both of those games against Michigan State because they just let him go straight up against him. And I think that's what they're going to do against Ademar. I don't think Michigan, though, is just going to be – this team is different than last year's.
Well, can I jump in with the point with the Mara stuff if they're not going to double team him?
Right.
You know what that does psychologically to everyone else on Michigan? It's like, oh, I guess we're just doing cardio. Guess we're just walking up and down the court and watching Ademar cook, and sometimes he's going to make buckets and sometimes he's not. And I think it might, like, Tom Izzo might be smart enough to know that, especially in college, if it's not a team that's 100% bought in, which I do think Michigan mostly is.
Of course.
It can just lead to some frustration from the guards and from the wings, honestly, if they're not getting enough looks up. It's natural. Like, even if you're playing pickup at the community center, it's like, okay, if I go up and down the court 9 times and don't even get a look because we're feeding the big every time and then we're all just watching him, you can kind of mentally check out even if you don't realize it. Maybe that's what Tom Izzo's ideology has always been with these big guys and letting them just go crazy in the paint.
Right. I mean, and I think it's half of that, and I think it's half of just like I think Carson Cooper can stop Ademar, which I'm not saying I think that way, but that's how Tom Izzo thinks, and he thought that these other centers could stop Zach Edey, and obviously it was something that didn't work out. So I don't think that Michigan, though, is just going to like pour it down to Ademar every time either. You know, it's not like that was their main source of offense a year ago, was Vlad Golden just killing in the paint. And that's really not like their number one point of points this year. You know, like they get him in so many different ways.
Yeah. They don't like their offense is such a well-oiled machine that when it breaks down, I guess I don't know. When Michigan State's offense breaks down, we know who the engineer that comes in and fixes it is. It's Jeremy Fears. When Michigan's breaks down, I feel like they go back to the huddle and look at Dusty May, which mostly speaks to how awesome of a coach Dusty May is. But when you don't have your alpha, maybe that's the question. Who's the alpha on Michigan?
Like offensively?
Just in general. Like the alpha in terms of, hey, this is a close game. I got us. I'm taking care of business here. I don't know I think there's like, is it possible to be too bought into the system? Because that's like, maybe that's the reason that I'm talking myself into trusting Michigan State just a little bit more down the stretch of these games, because I know that Jeremy Fears is an alpha. Who is that guy on Michigan? I don't know.
I don't know either. Like
that's a problem.
And I think that they have it could be a problem, but I don't know. It's not like they don't have options of who it could be.
It's not a problem when you're up by 10.
Right.
But when you're like in a back and forth game on the road
against the best defense in the country,
you need an alpha.
Plays into it.
And I'm not exactly sure that Michigan has an alpha. And I'm not calling anybody on the Michigan team soft or anything like that. I think all of them, it's a pro roster. We've said it a million times. I'm not the first person to say it. You'll hear Gus Johnson say it. You know what we should do later in the show?
Get John's Gus Johnson impersonation.
Yep. For this Michigan game, John's going to give his Gus Johnson impersonation.
Yaxel Lendenberg.
He plays so hard for Dusty May.
The top player in the American Conference a year ago.
Back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year, going toe-to-toe with the Spartans.
I just got to say, man, like whether or not you like Gus Johnson or not, splitting up Benetti and Raftery after they literally did the MSU Rutgers game on Tuesday, what is the point of that? Gus Johnson's been calling games with Jim Jackson all year, and now we're just going to put a different pair on that game? I don't know. I just don't love it.
I got to be careful because I don't know if the mic's going to freak out if I do the – but if he ends up – if when Cohen Carr inevitably dunks in transition,
oh,
no. Gus Johnson's microphone's going to break.
Yes, it's actually going to be.
They're going to have to go to silence here for a second because there's going to be no audio.
Okay, I want to ask you this.
We have flying cars in 2026.
So many people have done that bit too. By the way,
The flying cars
can fly. It's like everybody's done that. But I want to ask you this because Chris in our YouTube chat brings up a really good point. I think this could honestly make it for a good topic at some point. How he says the portal has killed rivalry games. Most of these kids are at a new school every year chasing $1. I do kind of get that sense that just like it felt the same way last year in this rivalry where it feels like a one-sided rivalry. Like it felt like one of the fan bases and one of the – not the fan bases, but one of the sides was so I hate that other team so much. I want to beat them so bad. And the other team was just like, yeah, man, we're excited to play. It's going to be a good game. It's a good team. We just got to play our best game. It's like – and I was going to make a point that, like, Michigan, they only have one kid that's from the state of Michigan. And it's Trey McKinney. Well, MSU really only has one guy either, and it's Carson Cooper. All the other guys from Michigan they don't play. But they've also been here. They were here last year, and they were here the year before. Like, Michigan State at least has time to build that rivalry. Jackson Kohler is playing in his 7th game against Michigan tomorrow. Like, there's something built up there. It's weird to think about that. And so, on the Michigan side of things, like, we've talked about this. Will Cheddar doesn't like MSU. LJ Casing clearly doesn't.
No,
Two guys that aren't really going to play.
It's got to be Burnett. Burnett's got to be the guy to spark it.
Sure. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just weird. I think this is a good point, though, because I don't think the rivalry has lost anything because the teams are so good. But if the teams weren't so good, I don't know how we'd be feeling about this.
I think the rivalries come down to if the coaches care about them. Because I think if we know one thing about some of these college basketball coaches is they have egos. Of course they do. And then there starts to be some people that they kind of dislike. Izzo's kind of zagged from that. I feel like Izzo's buddies with a lot of the guys that he coaches.
He's always been that way.
I don't think he's buddies with Dusty May. I think Dusty May is the kind of guy where it's like, hey, man, if you're not inside the building, you can F off. Like, I want nothing to do with you. I don't want to have a conversation with you. I don't want to catch up with you. I don't want to tell you a nice game at the end of it. I want to run you over and then back up over you again. And I think that's just such the opposite way that Tom Izzo goes about his day on a day-to-day basis.
And just look at the way these two teams are built, man. Like, Tom Izzo probably has an issue with the way that the Michigan roster was put together.
Yeah. He probably doesn't like May. I doubt he likes the way that May operates. And I think now May has been given a reason to dislike Michigan State, and it's on Dusty May to get these kids like Yaxel, like Mara, like Johnson, who have never really played against Michigan State in this type of way. It's on Dusty to get them to be fired up in this game.
Yeah.
I believe Marez Johnson's the only guy that's played in the Breslin of those three. Mara didn't last year. That was in UCLA. And then Yaxel obviously was in a completely different conference.
Guys, yeah. And even then, it's like Illinois versus MSU. Like, it's just a big Big Ten game. It's not like this rivalry, No,
it's not this is peak Breslin Center.
Yeah.
Like, this is everything you could possibly ask for with the Brez.
And your home dogs, too. Kind of crazy. I know one thing that would spice up this rivalry even more. Michigan's got to go get one of those G League guys. Tom Izzo would really that would make this rivalry way better. Go get one of those guys from the G League, Michigan.
Yeah, it's somehow like, wait, Bull never played in college. Bull's allowed to play for Michigan. Even though he's played probably 80 NBA games. It doesn't matter.
He played at Oregon, but it's all right. It was a good,
Bull played at Oregon?
It was a good joke, though. Yeah.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that at all. I've blocked that from my memory. All right. When we come back, we'll talk about Penei Sewell and some all-time Detroit Lions, because after what happened with Penei Sewell yesterday, I really do think we're approaching a territory that's like, oh, you're 25 years old and you're already in this group. That's when we come back. Ben Bosscher Show, as always, is brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Protect your home with the experts who do the job right the first time. Whether you have a leaky roof, storm damage, the siding looking a little tired, Bresky has you covered. Locally owned, trusted, and dedicated to keeping Midland area homes safe and looking sharp. Quality materials, skilled craftsmanship, and service that puts your family first. Don't wait for the next storm. Call Bresky Siding and Building Repair today and keep your home strong for years to come. Okay, I told you guys I have some alternatives for Michael Porter Jr. I feel like we've been banging that drum for a while now. It is the move I want to make the most, but it can't be like that or bust. It has to be a couple other alternatives too. So I'll give you some of those. There's some names that you'll probably know, some names that you might not, that would get me pretty fired up for a deadline. That's going to start the 10 o'clock hour. For now, Kyle, you see yesterday, Penei Sewell got nominated officially, not that it's a surprise for anybody, for the NFL's first ever Protector of the Year award. If he wins this and is the inaugural player, and he adds that to his resume and career accolades, that is just a list like this long for being 25 years old and playing offensive lineman, 3-time first-team All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler for anyone who still takes that accolade seriously at all. I really don't think it's that crazy to start saying he's one of the greatest Lions of all time. Because there's also, like, the playoff wins with him being on the team. And I know that maybe that doesn't mean a whole lot to other fan bases, but like Sewell being such a dominant force and having, the second highest run blocking grade of any offensive lineman of all time this season on PFF, the 3 first-team All-Pros, like, before 25, which puts him on pace for the same numbers Anthony Munez, who's the greatest offensive lineman ever when it comes to the first-team All-Pros, who's one shy of Jerry Rice's record for All-Pros first team. Like, Sewell is he has a career trajectory that is going to make him not just one of the greatest Lions of all time, but genuinely one of the best players in NFL history if we're just looking at offensive linemen, All-Pro teams, Pro Bowls. I don't think it's that crazy for us to start seeing, like, best Lions since when. And, like, I look at Megatron's career, and I've said this many times, and I'll keep saying it until I die. He's the greatest receiver I've ever seen, just in terms of, like, if you could build a receiver in a lab, Megatron would come out of it. Like, that is the perfect nickname for him because he's bigger, he's faster, he's stronger than everybody on the field at all times. They had to double team him in order to contain him. He's the greatest highlight reel you could possibly imagine for a wide receiver. He was not fair for defenses to try to scheme to stop. You couldn't do it. Literally impossible. In his career, 1-time touchdown leader, 2-time yards leader, averaged 100 yards a game 3 times as a receiver. I think that's kind of crazy. 1-time receptions leader, all-time yards in a season leader, even with 18 games or 17 games now. Nobody's caught that record. But was only a first-team All-Pro guy 3 times. Sewell has already caught him. And that's not to knock Johnson down the ladder at all. It's just to kind of put it into perspective. Like, oh, do you know how hard it is to make an All-Pro team? You have to be one of the best players, like one of the 2 best players in your position across the NFL. Sewell's already done it 3 times in 5 seasons. I'm just, like, amazed. I could talk about this guy all day.
Yeah, I mean, and it totally just fits, like, what the Lions fans love. Like, no, we talk about this all the time, but, like, talking about offensive line. You can't do that in a lot of other markets, right? But it's just, like, the grittiness that the fan base and the Lions just kind of embody. How fitting is it that your best player, and like you talk about, maybe their best player since Calvin Johnson, is an offensive lineman, and it's the guy that everyone can get behind. Like, there's never a doubt of, like, oh, who's the ex-best Lion here and there and this and that. No, Penei Sewell's the best guy on the Lions, and it's been that way ever since they've, become this good team.
Him?
Yeah, I mean, maybe, yeah.
There was that, like, really short period of time. It was after the Week 18 game in the first couple weeks of this past season where it was like, is there a chance Jahmyr Gibbs is the most impactful player on the team, and it's not actually Penei Sewell? I rescind that statement. I'm sorry I ever said it. I want it erased. I want the Men in Black. I forget what it's called. I want everyone to forget that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the Flash. Penei Sewell's the best Lion to step on the field since, I think, like, I don't think it's crazy to say since Barry Sanders.
That might be a stretch.
Why? Like, who
over
else would
Calvin?
even be in Yeah, over Calvin.
Were you about to say who else would be in contention?
Yeah.
Maybe the best wide receiver ever?
Calvin?
Yeah.
I think he is too, but, like, Sewell is projecting to be the greatest offensive lineman of all time. He's got 3 first-team All-Pros. The only guy to do that 3 times before turning 25 was Anthony Munez, who finished with 9, which is 2 shy of the NFL record for first-team All-Pros. Like, that's the competition he's in. He's chasing Jerry Rice, Kyle. He's chasing Jerry Rice for most first-team All-Pros ever. That is what Sewell is now doing. We can talk about Megatron's career and how epic it was. We can talk about St. Brown and how, consistent he's been. This is a receivers league, and he still has the most touchdowns the last 3 years. None of these guys are chasing anything by Jerry Rice, and that's the competition Sewell's in right now. If he wins this Protector of the Year award, I think he's going to win it. I think he should win it. I think the award was basically designed for him because remember last year, people were throwing around the idea of should he win Offensive Player of the Year because of how much creative ways Ben Johnson was using him. I never thought he was going to win it, but the fact that the fact that someone even was brave enough to throw him out there as what if we did this? Because the way that they were using him, pulling him out, he'd catch the ball, he's pulling out for screens. He's just constantly pushing guys into the end zone, or Monty or Gibbs will be 30 yards down the line of scrimmage and he's just trugging along and comes in to truck somebody. I don't think there's I don't think there's 5 better players in the NFL than Penei Sewell, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair, but I think the whole point about saying he's chasing Jerry Rice or this or that, it just seems early to say he's the best Lion since Barry Sanders because we were saying all that about Calvin Johnson, and then boom, he retires early.
Sure. He also has the same amount of All-Pros as Calvin Johnson did first team.
Right, so
that's crazy.
So
to me.
he's there right now. Yeah, let's maybe
he's not going to retire.
We didn't think Calvin Johnson was going to retire, man. I'm just saying. Yeah, and I agree. I don't want this to be something where I'm lowering my value on Penei Sewell. I just think maybe we're kind of forgetting how awesome Calvin Johnson was a little bit.
Oh, I don't forget. Ever. I'll watch his highlights once a week. Maybe that's a little bit more often than I do, but anytime that guy's highlights come up in my Instagram feed or my Twitter feed, 2 minutes and 30 seconds of Calvin Johnson's best plays? Yep. I'll sit down and watch it twice. I'll spend 5 minutes doing it because, again, he's the built-in-a-lab receiver. I know most people don't consider him the best receiver ever. Randy Moss, Jerry Rice with the accolades. But, this guy's prime. The fact that no one has still caught his yards record, I think, is maybe the most impressive feat of his career. There's an extra game and nobody's done it.
Exactly.
That's the craziest part to me. Averaging over 100 yards per game 3 times, but the hits that he had to take, not just from the other guys, but him landing into the ground, it's just ended his career early, plus all the losing.
And no one's going to top this in-game record either, right? 327, I think it is?
Never.
No one's touching that.
No, I don't even know who the most likely person
Jamar's had a couple pretty high 200 games. It's probably him, just with the amount of times that they pass or whatever, but yeah, there's no chance that ever gets topped.
The only guy I could have thought that maybe would have passed that was Tyreek Hill when he was still with Kansas City. I guess Jamar, just because they throw the ball so much in Cincinnati. Puka gets a lot of targets, but 300, Puka had that 225-yard game against Seattle in the regular season, and it was
right.
Whoa, how is anyone doing this? And Calvin had an extra 100 yards to that.
Yeah, it's pretty unreal. I just think that if we're comparing, okay, let's do this. So you're saying the best Lions since it. Let's say we're just up in the air about Calvin Johnson, whatever. Is Penei Sewell already a better Detroit Lion than Matt Stafford? A quarterback? I know, and I'm already seeing the people in the YouTube chat. Well, Matthew Stafford never won anything with the Lions. He never won any playoff games. I'm aware of that. But
not even a division.
It's the quarterback position, though.
I feel like the answer would probably be no. He's not better than Matt Stafford. If another team isn't now just totally claiming Stafford. Stafford's not really our guy anymore.
No, he's not. He's definitely
the Rams
not.
dude.
He's definitely not. Just like Goff is the Lions dude.
Yeah.
Totally.
So maybe I think I might actually say yes. Sewell is a better Lion all time than Stafford, simply because I don't even think Matt Stafford's a Lion anymore. Obviously, he's not a Lion right now, but I don't think he's going to the Hall of Fame as a Lion.
No, he won't. I mean, he's won a Super Bowl on a different team, and
is
might
maybe about to win an MVP
on another team too. Yeah, it would be very difficult for that to happen now. Yeah.
So yeah, I would go as far back as Barry. He's the best Lion since Barry, and I think he has a chance to
Man, that just
truly
seems
be
like
on the Mount
such-
Rushmore of Detroit Lions ever.
Yes, he might already be on the Mount
Yeah.
Rushmore right now, but saying over Calvin just seems like a stretch. It's hurtful.
It's a short career, man. Like, if we're doing the built in a lab thing for receivers, if we did it for offensive linemen, wouldn't Penei Sewell just come out?
Yeah.
It's like, wait, this guy's 325 pounds and can move this fast and is this agile and has this quick of feet and can, like, run down the field with your running backs, and then once they get into trouble, like, can just kind of push them forward into the end zone. That's not supposed to be normal. This guy never runs out of steam. Most offensive tackles, like, won't even attempt to run down the field, and he's just chugging along every step of the way.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I love it.
and he had to move to right tackle. You know, like, coming out.
And he has one career catch.
They've tried to make it more, man.
Over under career touchdowns for Calvin Johnson, or for Penei Sewell, if I said it at 0.5. Over, right? Even without Ben Johnson?
Without Ben Johnson, how did he
You
not
got
get
Mike
it?
Kafka now.
If he couldn't get it done with Ben Johnson, like,
You saw what Mike Kafka was doing. Jameis
Jameis Winston caught a touchdown.
Yeah.
God, you're right.
I like the Mike Kafka
I would
effect.
go under. I think that it's too obvious. If any time it's like Penei Sewell is reported as eligible, it's like the whole defense is like, okay, we could let David Montgomery score a touchdown all we want here. We're not letting Penei Sewell score it.
I wonder if they'd ever, like, motion him back to be a fullback.
Why not?
That'd be the greatest thing ever.
I mean, it does take
Goff-
away him from the right side, which is obviously a hurt. But
Goff just checks it, and all of a sudden Sewell's back in the backfield in front of Jahmyr Gibbs, and it's just like, move out of the way.
Yeah.
Move out of the way if you're a defensive tackle, because you're about to get run over.
there's still nothing more that I love in a Lions game watching than when
I know what you're gonna
Gibbs
say.
or anybody is out on the side, headed towards the sideline in the open, and Sewell's just with them. Like, out
Yeah.
in the open, just boom. Like, it's just those two, and he's keeping up with them. Like, that's one of my favorite things about the Lions games. It's just Sewell out in space with a guy with the football next to him. It's so fun.
My favorite Penei Sewell moment of all time probably isn't his catch, but from his rookie season when he just grabs a hold of Aaron Donald's face
I
mask.
knew you were
He's
gonna
like,
say that.
why are you in my face right now? He's like, he just didn't care. It was the greatest defensive player we've seen in decades going toe-to-toe with Penei Sewell, and Penei Sewell was like, I don't care who you are. Like, I'm up for the chance. Let's go. And he just grabbed the hold of his face mask. That was like the moment I knew. I was like, oh, we have not just like a great player on our team, we have a warrior. This dude's afraid of nothing and thinks he is peers with Aaron Donald. Like, yes, someone finally worthy of testing me. Aaron Donald, let's go. Like, that was all I needed to know from
As a
Penei
rookie,
Sewell for me to fall in love with
like
him.
and the team wasn't any good either. It's not like it was like you have the mojo because we're this good young team. Like, no, the team was terrible. So good.
Finally, someone on my level, Aaron Donald,
Yeah.
4-time, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, literally one of the best ever.
I finally have someone who's worthy of going up against me. Yeah, I'm a big Penei Sewell fan when it comes to that.
So is he already Mount Rushmore?
So you'd have to go
Barry Calvin, no doubt.
Barry Calvin, no doubt.
And then it's like, how far back do you want to go?
You probably
know?
got to put Bobby Lane in there.
Right.
I don't think Stafford's on that. I don't think, like, I guess maybe there's a case for Amon-Ra right now. I think
Right
Amon-Ra's
now?
probably past Herman Moore.
Yeah.
And if there's going to be an offensive lineman, I'd probably just rather have Penei Sewell than Lomas Brown on there. Lomas Brown only made one first-team All-Pro, and I love Lomas, but Penei Sewell's kind of like tripled the amount of first-team All-Pros he's already had.
Yeah.
Um,
There's no other quarterbacks outside of Matt Stafford and Jared
Bobby
Goff,
Lane.
But I mean, like, other ones.
Joe Schmidt, the linebacker.
See, I'm trying to see if there's any other guys that people would say.
If you want to go back to that 50s team, it'd probably be Schmidt, the linebacker, who was just like a force to be reckoned with. He was like 5 times first-team All-Pro, something crazy. I think he even was like runner-up in MVP one season.
Yeah.
That was the year the Lions won 4 titles in a decade. They were the team of the decade.
Yeah, I think he's probably already on it.
Yeah. If you want to go post-merger, 1970,
Right.
Sewell's on it for sure.
Then it's no doubt. Yeah, exactly.
It's just who that 4th spot is. I think it's Barry, Calvin, Sewell. Is it Goff or Amon-Ra?
You don't want to give Lem Barney that spot?
I'd rather go Goff or Amon-Ra, honestly.
Yeah, no, I was just
and maybe
joking.
recency bias or just age bias showing. But
I mean, it's definitely just age bias. Like, we've watched them play.
I mean, Jared Goff won the Lions 2 playoff games though. Like,
no one YouTube chat says, what about Dan Orlovsky?
he has maybe the most memorable moment as a Lion, the most clipped moment as a Lion.
Oh man, it's so terrible.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. Just real quick off the top of the dome, I'd go Sewell, Amon-Ra, Gibbs, Hutchinson. No, Campbell, Hutchinson is the top 5 Lions right now. Sorry, Goff. Sorry, J-Mo. Sorry, Laporta. Sorry, Branch. It's got to be those 5.
And it feels like Sewell is always
One.
at the top. Like, is there
on
anything?
his own tier.
Because, I mean, we've made a couple talks, like, I think during the season we had a little debate of, like, is Gibbs now the best Lion? When he had that stretch of just being insane, and it was like, is he the best guy on the team?
What are you talking about? I thought I hit everyone with the flash. I don't remember
I had my
saying that.
sunglasses on, so I remember that, yeah.
989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. Studio being renovated right across this wall. So we'll be back in that hopefully late next week, if not the Monday after the Super Bowl. Something I'm really excited about. We've been looking forward to this for a long time. So today's just for our YouTube and Facebook audience. If you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing? Subscribe. And if you haven't hit that like button yet, go ahead and do that. It helps push the show out to everyone else in this great state of Michigan so they can hopefully follow along and fall in love with the show as well. So we appreciate you guys. You guys are like our loyal listeners here on the YouTube side of things. So speaking right to you guys and the Facebook listeners, we appreciate you here at The Mitt. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt, YouTube and Facebook. And when we come back, I want to do some alternatives. That's how you say that. Alternatives for the trade deadline for the Detroit Pistons. Who knows if Michael Porter Jr. is going to be on the team. They got to do something, though. They can't do nothing. So I'll give you some alternatives when we come back here on the Ben Bosscher Show. Welcome back into the show. 10 o'clock hour, as always, is brought to you by our friends over at Corning, a global leader in material science right here in Midland. From the glass in your smartphones to innovations that power clean energy and advanced medicine, Corning is shaping the future, but it's not just about the technology. It is also about the people. Corning invests in the community, supports local schools, and creates opportunities that are close to home. With a legacy of innovation and commitment to what is next, Corning is proud to call Midland a part of its story, creating life-changing innovations, one breakthrough at a time. That is Corning. Okay. We've been pretty obsessed with the idea of Michael Porter Jr. being on the Detroit Pistons, haven't we?
Yes.
I'm starting to think that that's just not going to happen. And I don't want to be in a situation to where if it doesn't happen, we're ultimately just completely disappointed. Now, I will say, I don't want to be the team that's like, we're not trading Tobias Harris. He's untouchable. We're not moving off of him. I think that would be poor general managing from Trajan Langdon. But as long as they make some sort of move at the deadline, I think I'm going to be satisfied with the Detroit Pistons. If it's one of these guys. I mean, we've talked about Trey Murphy. I don't know if the Pistons quite have what it takes to get Trey Murphy. I feel like there's going to be a team that overpays for him with picks that could be bad. The Pistons picks should be good. So I don't think it's going to be that 3-and-D player like Trey Murphy. But there is a couple other guys available. Can I interest you in trading for Klay Thompson, who's right now on the Mavericks, still shooting 38% from three. Three-pointer's never going to go away. Obviously, the defense isn't the same. He's only scoring a little over 10 points per game right now. It's not like he's coming in and you're getting prime Klay Thompson, but nobody would be asking him to be. He'd be someone that, similar to the way Duncan is, if they start to send doubles to Cade when Duren gives him the pick, someone that you can just swing the ball to and say, let it rip, man. Let it rip. I think this would tremendously help the Pistons. He's on almost 8 attempts per game right now. He's 35 years old. I don't think it matters. He can come off the bench and just be this year's version of Malik Beasley. Come off the bench and just rip as many threes as you want. Ray Allen was 37 when he got traded.
Klay is 35? Wow, that makes me feel old.
Ray Allen was 37 when he got traded and helped Miami win a title. Never started a single game. I think Klay Thompson would be a true difference maker. I would have this as a Karis LeVert in a couple seconds with the trade exception. You get Klay Thompson in the building. You got another lights-out three-point shooter. I'd have this as a help Cade score of 7.9.
Oh, okay. I like that. Yeah, this is also just a situation where the Pistons need a shooter on the floor at all times. And right now, I would truly say their only high-volume three-point shooter is Duncan Robinson. Danish Jenkins is kind of just become their catch-and-shoot guy with Jaden Ivey as well. Both of those two guys are in that role. And you need a guy like Klay or Duncan in the game at all times. It'd be as simple as that. When Duncan's not in the game, okay, it's Klay. And also, you've noticed this late in Pistons games lately, especially that Houston game. The games where Duncan Robinson isn't hitting his threes, which I think it's unrealistic to expect him to hit 4 or 5 every game. He's a three-point shooter. You just have games where you're not knocking him down. Yeah, you really notice it. Because then the defense is if your only guy who we respect from three is not hitting the threes, then we're going to send everything at Cade. And the part that becomes the biggest issue is in a playoff series. When the stakes are even higher, there isn't many times where these three-point shooters elevate in the playoffs. If anything, it just lowers. You saw with Malik Beasley last year, So
yeah.
If your number one guy has a game or two in the playoffs where he's not knocking down shots, it becomes a lot easier for defenses to hone in on Cade, which, of course, makes things much more difficult for the Pistons to win. So I'm with you here. Nonetheless, I'm not saying I would prioritize getting Klay over a Michael Porter Jr., and I know you're not saying that either. Mm-hmm. But I just think that acquiring a shooter with the LeVert has basically become a zero for the Pistons. He doesn't really impact their winning season at all, right? I mean, on the scale, he's probably 9th or 10th.
He had a couple really nice games earlier on in the year where it felt like he saved the team coming off the bench. But, yeah, at this point,
I
that's
agree.
The contract to move.
I felt that earlier in the year that he was important to this team from a score. They just need his punch off the bench. They don't anymore. And he's making the money where it's can we just replace him with a guy that is just a three-point shooter guy? Whether or not you trade for Porter Jr. with the Tobias money or not, I would still love LeVert has to be gone. I think that's the guy that just has got to be gone.
You know why this is hilarious too, is because this is going to be back-to-back seasons that LeVert could be moved off of the first place team at the trade deadline because Cleveland did the exact same thing last year because they just wanted him the hell off the roster because they knew they were better off without him, and it was an upgradable spot.
And it's just like exactly that's the part where LeVert has fallen into. He's not bad enough where he should be making $5 million, but he's too good to be making the mid-level exception, which is $14 million, which is what he makes. It was like the Cavs traded him for DeAndre Hunter last year. Yep. That's what the Pistons are likely going to do this year too. So it is pretty funny.
Not only would Klay Thompson just obviously help the three-point shooting, but look, you're right. Ivy and Danis are hitting their threes. Nobody has the quick release like Duncan and Klay. There's three-point shooters, and then there's the elite three-point shooters. Duncan's in that conversation. Klay is too, to where, hey, man, sometimes it doesn't even matter. You can have a hand up, and you can have a guy closing out on me, your best defender closing out as hard as you can. And it's just not going to matter. Sorry, man, I'm getting my shot off, which means you failed to do your job. The fact that I'm even getting this off is a failure on your part. That's the type of shooter Klay Thompson is. Lightning quick release. If they want to double team Cade off the dribble or off the screens from Duren and Stu, that's just another guy to kick to on the wing. I think he'd come in off the bench and just make an awesome impact.
And not only is he just a guy that can knock down a shot in any spot, he also has the irrational shooter's confidence, which is so important. I know a lot of people have these things where if a guy is not making shots, stop shooting.
No, you got to keep shooting.
You have to keep shooting, especially in a playoff series. That's what we have to start thinking about with the Pistons. It's not about the next 40 games anymore. Of course, you want them to be good. It's about the playoffs. That's what any move that you're trying to hypothesize at the deadline, it has to be about the playoffs. And if Klay Thompson is 0 for 7, you know what Klay Thompson's going to do when he catches it on the left wing? Shoot it again.
Yeah.
You need that because the second you stop shooting, then all of a sudden, why are you on the floor? That's what you're out there to do. And Danis Jenkins, Jaden Ivey, if those two guys are out there in the playoffs and they've missed 2 or 3 threes in a row, they're not going to keep shooting because they're not. That's just not the player that they are. So, it's nice to have a combination of him and Duncan. I'm with you.
Fourth in made threes all time. Yeah, I think I'm going to give him the green light to shoot at any time. Plus, Ray Allen's third, so if he passed that, the Ray Allen mark on the Pistons, on that second, last chapter of the career, I think that'd be pretty cool. Is he close? 300 away.
Plus, he dates Megan Thee Stallion too. So
oh no, 100.
That's something.
150 away. 150 away. Yeah, we can bring Megan Thee Stallion to the Pistons games.
Exactly. Why not?
The second one I have is not a trade, but a buyout. What if the Sacramento Kings are we're good, Zach LaVine. We're good. Here's your $40 million that we owe you. You can go sign wherever for some exception. We don't want you here anymore. Would you be willing to pick that up if you're the Detroit Pistons, knowing he's had one career plus minus, and that was 0.2. One career positive plus minus, that was 0.2.
For a full season?
Yeah, that was 2022, 2023. He's never been on a 500 basketball team. However, he's shooting 39% on 7 attempts per game right now. Only 35 games played this year, though. In the last 3 years before this year, was shooting in outstanding. Had to double, triple take. 44% from 3 each of the last 3 seasons prior to this one. That doesn't even make sense. You hear that, you know that he can score off the dribble. We all know the Zach LaVine dunk stuff. He can be a spark in scoring, and if you're a diehard Pistons fans, you know that this guy has lit this team up over the past 15 years, or over the past 5 years as well. There's a lot of good reasons why this might be a nice fit, because he's another guy where it's okay, Cade's not in the game. We can kind of let Zach LaVine cook a little bit. However, it might be too much where he's cool, I have the ball now. Now it's the Zach LaVine show.
I think that could be part of it. I think it's tougher to add a guy like Zach LaVine into a roster right now than it is a Klay Thompson, right? Like you said, he's just going to have a huge role. I mean, he's going to be a 25 points per game scorer. It's not like Zach LaVine's going to come in and average 13. Where is that fit right now on the Pistons? You're replacing him with LeVert, or in this case, you wouldn't even have to get rid of LeVert. And so, I don't know. This one is a little bit tougher for me. LaVine is great. He's one of the better 3-level scorers there is. He can do it everywhere. But I don't know. Also, why would Sacramento buy him out? He has the player option for next year too. I don't know why he would agree to a buyout. I would just stay with Sacramento, pick up my option for next year, and then you want to buy me out in the offseason, sure, do it then. But I don't think it's very likely that, one, it happens, and two, he screams like a team that one of these bigger teams, right? Oh, the Warriors, let's go get Zach LaVine. He'll save our season. The Lakers, let's add Zach LaVine. He'll help us out. Like, just something like that is kind of how it feels to me rather than Detroit. It seems like just too much to add almost.
Can I interest you in Malik Monk? Once again, it's 2 seconds and Karis LeVert.
Another king.
Once again, we're throwing Karis LeVert up on the trade block.
Karis LeVert.
Attaching a couple seconds. Malik Monk right now is averaging 12 points per game, 42% for three on almost 5 attempts, so not quite the volume that Clay is shooting right now. I'd have his help Cade score at like an 8.1 because not only is this a guy who can stretch the floor, you don't want to leave him open in the corners or on the wings, but also a guy that, like, similar to what you kind of wanted from Karis, can kind of come in off the bench and be his own version of some Pistons offense for a while when Cade is sitting. Like, he can do some stuff off the dribble and attack the rim in a way that Karis LeVert can't. He's a little bit more explosive, catches someone on a poster on the right night, and like I said, a nice three-point shooter as well, even though it's on a low volume. I like this one.
I like Monk. It seems like he kind of has the same type of package as a Zach LaVine, just on a lesser level. Just so it's like it would be easier to kind of fit him into the Pistons offense. He is just kind of a better version of LeVert, right?
Yeah.
Like, as far as a play style goes, he's not like this elite three-point shooter volume-wise either.
He's not really looking to engage other people in the offense, which sometimes you just need a guy who it's like, hey, go get some buckets.
Right.
And that's what he does.
My only question is, like, why does he not play that much anymore? Like, I know Sacramento's just been a weird situation, and maybe it's just that, but, like, he's gone from being the sixth man of the year to being, like, a starter most of the year last year for Sacramento. And then this year he's playing just over 20 minutes a night. Like, why?
Maybe because they're trying to lose? That's my only explanation.
That seems odd. And I think you could just chalk it up to, like, the Kings have done odd things all year. They signed Dennis Schroeder to this 4-year contract, and Russell Westbrook plays over him on a minimum contract, who they signed a week before the season started.
Sometimes they play together.
Keon Ellis, who's their only good perimeter defender, doesn't play. Like, just stuff like that is like, wait, what? Like, what's going on here? So I like Monk. I like the idea of Monk. I think there's a little bit of the Pistons fans, we want him even more because this offseason it was like, they're going to get Monk. Like, they're getting Malik Monk. It was basically written by all these beat writers. Oh, they're getting him, and then they just didn't. So I think that's kind of why I'm attached to him, because I was really attached to him this summer. So I like it. I just think there's a little bit of question marks everywhere there.
There's one more person we have to discuss. The largest person on the trade block, literally. I'll tell you who that is when we come back. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, live here on 100.9 The Mitt. It's not really a secret. If you're tapped into the NBA, you know who I'm talking about. Hey, you guys can see us right here, live on YouTube. That's the only way we're live today, that and Facebook. And you'll notice we've got our bright smiles that start right here at Scott Family Dental. You can also see our amazing eyes. Look at them glisten. See me blinking.
Got the sun coming in, too, yeah.
See the difference at Midland Eye Care, where your vision is their focus, offering comprehensive eye exams, glasses, contacts, and advanced eye health services, friendly, knowledgeable staff, and a wide selection of stylish frames for every face and budget. Locally owned and trusted by families throughout the Midland area, while offering comprehensive eye care services and in-demand lenses and frames. Whether you're updating your prescription or checking in on your eye health, they've got you covered. Book your appointment today and start seeing clear tomorrow. That is Midland Eye Care. The person that we didn't bring up in the last segment, the biggest fish of them all, I'm going to lean back for this one. Giannis. Officially, doesn't request a trade, but does yesterday. It was weird. He's ready to move on. We were watching a network show yesterday, and they were saying the Pistons had the best package to give up to acquire Giannis with whatever sort of version they want to give up of their picks. Ron Holland, Asar Thompson, Jaden Ivey, Tobias Harris. Not that it would take all of that, but they do have a plethora of options to be able to send over to Milwaukee if they really were to want Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I think about the fit and how it would work. I think you'd kind of just have to give up Jalen Duren because there's no way Giannis and Duren are playing next to each other. You don't really – you mostly want to stretch five with Giannis, and if you're not going to have a stretch five, you may as well just lean into defense and have one of the best defenders in the NBA as your five, or just have Giannis as your five. But again, Duren's not anything but a center in this league. So I think Duren would just kind of have to be in it. And to disrupt that seems crazy. But again, okay, if we think the Duren pick and roll with Cade is awesome, what would the Giannis pick and roll with Cade look like? But here's the thing. It'd be Duren. It'd be 3 first-round picks minimum. It'd be probably Ron Holland or Jaden Ivey as well. Giannis is, 32 years old, dealing with a ton of injuries right now. Has dealt with 3 different calf injuries this season. Has been out of the playoffs in 4 years because he continues to get hurt that time of the year. I love Giannis. I think he's become one of the most underrated players of our generation. 2 MVPs, Defense Player of the Year, Finals MVP. I think he gets kind of swept under the rug when we're talking about the best players in the world, when he without a doubt is. But I'd be hesitant to sell the farm for Giannis Antetokounmpo right now, as much as it would be a win-now move and make the path to get to the finals almost feel not like a layup, but I guess the answer is ultimately no. I think it'd be a dumb thing to do, but I look around the Eastern Conference right now. It's who the heck are we afraid of if we have Cade and Giannis on our team?
How many times in a row do you think Giannis Antetokounmpo has made the first team All-NBA?
8. 7.
That's a crap ton in a row. I think there's less than 5 players ever have done it that many years in a row, just because it's you got to be one of the 5 best. I mean, in this, you got to be one of the 2 best forwards in the league and not get hurt. So, on one hand, you look at this and you're just wait, a trio, because I don't think Duren would be the one getting traded. I know
him and Giannis can play next to each other.
Right, but I also just don't think they would trade Duren for Giannis, though, right? I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you from the fit, but let's think about what would actually happen. I don't think they would trade Duren to get Giannis. Correct?
Then maybe that's just the end of the conversation.
Could be. But where I was going with this was a combination of Cade, Giannis, Duren, and then whatever guys you have left just makes you in one of the favorites to win the title for the next X amount of years in itself, right? So that's one thing that you can be well, this is a no-brainer. Even just a duo. Let's take away, even if you're trading Duren, Cade and Giannis.
Yeah, 2 of the 10 best players in the NBA.
Yeah,
really more 2 of the 7 best players
exactly.
in the NBA.
Maybe 2 top 7 guys for the next so many years. Giannis is old. He is 31. I thought he was 32 as well, but he actually just turned 31 in end of December. So, yeah, he's older. He's not old, though, by any means.
But he is a big guy.
And here's the concerning part, though, and the reason why I'm ultimately out, even though I'm still kind of starting to talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah, the more we talk this thing out.
It's just it's Giannis, and I'm with you, too.
I know.
I love Giannis. He's such a likable guy. He doesn't owe Milwaukee anything else. He's won a title for them. I respect him asking out. That team is totally capped out.
He's just an MF-er,
and he's a cool guy, man. He's cool. He's fun to watch. 50 ball in a closeout game in the finals.
And he fits the Detroit mentality of this guy's just a bully. He's just mean to opposing teams.
Right. The only issue that I find is, one, he's just had this connection to the Knicks for several years now, where he's all about growing his personal brand and all that kind of stuff, and that's just been a thing for a while. And someone brings it up in our YouTube comments. Rage says that he's only under contract for the next 2 years. Yeah, it's a good point. Is he signing long term with whoever trades for him? I think he's probably going to want to control where he goes, right?
If he wins, if they go to the finals. I think the number one reason he wants out of Milwaukee isn't because it's a small market. It's because they've completely failed to put a good team around him. If he has a Cade around him,
of course,
that's totally like if he thinks he has a chance to win a finals, I don't think he's leaving at whatever city he's in.
Sure, I agree, but I think there's at least some risk involved with that, rather than if just like the Knicks or the Warriors traded for him. It's like, yeah, he's just going to stay with that team most likely. But the big thing is that he hasn't made an impact in the playoffs in 3 straight years.
He's been hurt.
He's been hurt. He's been banged up or just out in general in the playoffs for 3 consecutive seasons. His team has gone out in the first round 3 years in a row. Like, that's a pretty big concern.
Yeah.
Especially with and he's had 3 different calf injuries this season, which the calf has been all of a sudden has become the new like worst injury you could get. You know, like it seems like that is like the it's the calf. So I don't know. I think it's awesome. I think that him being available is cool for the league because it sparks conversations like this. And the Pistons do have a good package. But ultimately, their depth is one thing that is their biggest strengths. And it just makes it very, like, all of a sudden there's all this pressure on the Pistons if you trade for Giannis. And right now there's not. And I kind of like that. And I think they could still do it without it, you know?
Sometimes I feel like we just overthink it, where it's like, you have a chance to get Giannis, go do it.
Right, and you don't get that opportunity very often.
And to the point about the playoffs, where they've missed, like, haven't had a big playoff impact the last 3 years, their team's also been bad. Like, yeah, the best player in the world, or one of them, should win playoff series, but they also just have had a really bad roster around him.
I think that's more so my point there was that he becomes deteriorated by the end of the season.
But I don't think he would be if he had Cade on his team.
Had Dame.
Look, I think the ultimate answer is no, I wouldn't do it. Ron, like, whatever the package is, 3 firsts, Duren, Ron, Ivy, Tobias, it's probably just going to end up being too much. I'll let some other team completely sink themselves while getting, like, convincing themselves that they want. Because whoever trades for Giannis is going to feel like they just won the title, right? They're going to talk themselves into being contenders if they weren't already, or if they were contenders that they just became the favorites. I feel like the Pistons can get it done without him. And maybe adding around the edges and not giving up all your draft capital is the way to go. But then again, like, what did we always say? Why have we been saying Ron Holland's untouchable for a couple of weeks? Because you can trade him a year from now for something bigger and better. This is the bigger or better.
Right, yeah.
This is the guy. Like, and guys like this don't just become available at the trade deadline or in free agency. That's not a thing. And it's happened. And there's teams chasing him. The Pistons aren't necessarily one of the teams linked to that. But Trajan Langdon, there's anything we know about him, he operates in the dark. So,
well, I think that's the part that it ultimately comes back to is like whether or not we want to sit here and say should they. The question to will they. I mean, we know that that's not going to happen, right? The Pistons aren't trading for Giannis.
I think it's crazy to assume Trajan Langdon's going to do anything. He may as well be mute. He may as well never say he may as well never have press conferences because his press conferences are pointless. It's him sitting into the microphone and like just minimalizing every single answer that question that he's possibly asked.
Well, are you out on Trajan Langdon?
No, I think he's done a good job, but he doesn't give us much. Hey, are we going to get any sort of updates on Ivy and Duren getting extensions? You know, we're thinking about that internally right now, but that's not something that we'd ever going to talk about publicly. Next question. What have you noticed from Cade's development? Cade's looked like a lot better player this season. It's always something we believe. Like, it's just like the most boring stuff ever.
You got to get really close to the mic and then talk even quieter. Yeah.
Yeah, Cade's had a nice season. Our focus is surrounding Cade with players.
That's good.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the finally thing with the Pistons trading situation is that we still have a week to discuss this, of course, but with Duren, like you said, it was a good point bringing up. Like they didn't give him his rookie extension. Duren is going to be paid next year. So at the end of the day,
not if he's on the Bucks.
That's why. Sure, he still will be paid if he's on the Bucks. But anyways, that's why you trade a LeVert or a Tobias for somebody that is under contract a year from now as well. Like that's why you use that contract space to acquire a guy that's not only going to be here for this playoff run, but be here for next year. That's why MPJ fits the best. That's why we've continued to harp on that.
If Milwaukee's not going to get their picks back from Portland, though, what's the best young asset they could get back in return?
realistically, because we're
Like,
saying
I'm
the Spurs,
asking if
we're saying the
Duren-
Spurs can't do it. Yeah,
I'm asking if Duren is maybe the best guy that they can get back.
he probably is. Yeah, as far as you look at the other teams that are rumored to be involved, the Knicks don't have any sort of young asset that they could want. The Warriors, what? Jonathan Kuminga? Yeah, right. The Timberwolves have Rob Dillingham, who's terrible, and then the Heat have Hero, who's not even young. That's like your main guy you're getting. Jaquez, Jovic, yeah, no, it's obviously Duren. Yeah.
Imagine trying to score in a paint that has Isaiah Stewart protecting the paint. You're being face guarded by Giannis.
And Asar Thompson's also out there somewhere.
Nobody would score on the Pistons.
Yeah, except who's shooting the ball in that lineup? Duncan Robinson, baby.
Yeah, welcome to the team, Duncan Robinson. Maybe it'd be Giannis and one of the bozos on their team that can hit a three once in a while. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, live here on 100.9 The Mitt, live on YouTube, live on Facebook. Hey, downtown Midland, they've got a lot of nice places to go, but none better than Pizza Baker. If you're craving Midland and pizza that actually makes your taste buds happy, you got to head to Pizza Baker. Their wood-fire pizza place, known for fresh, creative pies, and the one everybody's talking about, the Margaroni. My personal favorite, the Banana-roni. You get some pepperoni, you get some banana peppers, wood-fire pizza. It's got that nice crunch to it on the bottom. Perfect crust, bold flavors, and the smoky wood-fire taste you just can't get anywhere else. That is Pizza Baker. Come hungry and leave happy. Stop by for lunch in downtown Midland. Welcome back in. It's time for us to do something we do every single show, and that is take a trip around the league. All right, Kyle, I got a good one for us today. So typically in the NFL, NBA, at some time during the offseason, they put out a player poll, an anonymous GM poll, something along those lines. Well, The Athletic piled their player poll questions early, and before they sent them out to everybody and got answers, they just let us know about them. So how about we give our answers to the player poll? I thought that'd be a good way to,
All right.
to kick
Wait,
things
you said
off.
this is NBA, NFL?
NFL, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay,
NFL.
cool. Let's do it.
So here's the first question. After a full season of officiating-fueled controversy, is it time for the tush push to be outlawed? So I'm glad that they're asking this because I actually changed my mind about this during the playoffs when Drake May tried to do a tush push, which is something the Patriots, I hadn't seen them really do all year. And they put 2 defensive tackles behind him in order to push him forward. There's so many bodies, so much mass. Impossible to tell where Drake May is, where the football is. Sean Payton throws the challenge flag, and it's just like, dude, there's no point in challenging this because there's no clear evidence where he is in the first place. It's just going to stand. That's exactly what happened. It was upheld. I think it's just too hard to officiate, not just from the offside standpoint, because for some reason only Philly is the one that jumps offsides or has the false starts. I simply think from a perspective of it's impossible to know when to where to spot the ball and when to blow the whistle because sometimes guys are still being pushed forward. Sometimes they want it to be called. Sometimes they don't want the play to be called dead because they're still gaining a couple inches. I think I'm all good on the tush push. It's also just too much of a crutch for offensive coordinators on 4th and 1. So let's get a little bit more creative. I'm done with it.
Yeah, I think that's the right take, just in the fact that the worst part about it is that there's no way to spot it. Like that's definitely the number one part about the tush push that sucks. Yeah, when the Eagles were doing it, it was just like, oh man, the Eagles do the tush push. It sucks. Now everyone does it. And I think the fact that you're seeing all these non-quarterbacks come in the game, the tight ends are taking the snaps and doing it, like just to have anybody run it, it's kind of lost its purpose. It's gone too far. I agree. The spotting thing is the biggest part. Like where there's no way the officials can tell. The chip in the football thing, that only matters where they place the football. And so I think it's wrong. Yeah, get rid of it. It probably will get outlawed this offseason, right? It was
now
so
there's
close.
so many teams that do it well. I don't know.
That's true. Maybe the teams that were voting against it now do it, and they're like,
because it felt like last offseason when it got voted on, it was because Philly was too good on it. And I was
and
like,
they won
no,
the Super Bowl, yeah.
Don't ban the tush push if you got to figure out how to stop it. Now now that everyone does it, it's like, what are we doing here?
If we get tush pushes in the Super Bowl that are like impactful, the A.J. Barner Seattle ones,
Yep.
like then I think maybe we'll get it outlawed.
The Lions were one of the teams that voted to not ban it last year. I wonder if their opinions of it have changed since facing Philadelphia.
They have never done a tush push, right? Like
no, they don't even do
real,
QB sneaks, really.
Sometimes golf will randomly poke one out.
Like once a year.
Exactly. But they've never done a real tush push. I wonder how many teams in the league have not done one.
And Jared Goff's tall. Like, he could do it. He's pretty good when they do the tush pushes.
You do?
Yeah. I don't think the Chiefs do it at all either, at least with Mahomes. They'll never do it. It's weird. Lamar, I don't think they'd ever do it with him either.
No. But haven't they done one with Mark Andrews? I think that
Yes.
I think a lot of
Definitely.
these teams just bring their tight end in and do it.
Yeah. It's goofy. I'd say ban. You're with me.
Yeah. Get
Next question. Is there anything wrong with Tom Brady running a franchise the same way that he covers the league as a prominent analyst? I think the answer is no. I've actually, I kind of like Tom Brady on the calls now. He's starting to get really good at just giving the small insights. Like that thing when a couple weeks ago when he was talking about the difference between throwing the ball in the wind versus, when there's no wind outside, and like he had a football and was showing the camera how he used to do it. I think that sort of stuff is really good. I don't really think it has I mean, teams are only going to share what they're comfortable with these broadcast crews. It's not like, teams are going to go out and spill their offseason plans to the guy, and then he's going to go back to the Raiders and change it. And honestly, Tom Brady, if we know one thing about him, he's going to use gamesmanship. We know there's a couple scandals in there as well. I just don't really think the teams are like giving him anything that would benefit him. Now, if he's doing a Raiders game and he gets to talk to the coaches before, yeah, that might be a little bit different. But as long as he's not doing the Raiders games themselves, I don't really have an issue with this.
I think people don't really have an issue with this now until the Raiders are good. If the Raiders become good and, like you said, they're getting games on TV, I think this becomes a little bit more of a, I don't really know. Like, this becomes an odd situation. But we see this all over the league. Like, it's not just a Tom Brady thing. I think it's just because it's Tom Brady we're all interested in it. Troy Aikman, of course, is now involved with the Miami Dolphins. He's not losing his ESPN gig. And I think there was a time a while back where when Troy Aikman was with Fox, he wasn't allowed to do the Super Bowl if he was involved with another front office. If they made it, he couldn't be in it. I don't know, kind of weird. There's guys in the NBA. Grant Hill is like the director of USA Basketball, and he's involved with the Atlanta Hawks and this and that. He doesn't have to take games off. Like, I don't think this is that big of a deal. I think if you ask the coaches, none of them are like unwilling to discuss things with Tom Brady because he's the Raiders guy. They're not giving you, like you said, they're not in those production meetings like, hey, here's,
you want to know our full
we're trading for
plan?
this guy. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like, this is who we're drafting. Like, no, it's not that stuff. It's literally just about like what has practice been like this week, stuff like that. So I don't think this is a big deal at all. I think it's kind of overplayed.
We've agreed too much. Maybe we'll disagree on this one. Everyone has seemingly voiced their opinion on NFL making Bad Bunny the first Spanish language performer at the Super Bowl halftime. How do the players feel about it? And if not Bad Bunny, who would they like to see? Here's my stance on it. It feels like, yeah, obviously there a lot of divide going on right now.
I don't think we're going to disagree on this one either.
With a lot of divide on this topic right now for a lot of different reasons with some layers that I don't even want to get into. But my take on it is, can we just see the halftime show before we decide that it's bad? Like, Bad Bunny's no different than fill in the blank artist that you don't know. If you don't know the artist, you're not going to be excited for the Super Bowl halftime show. I would just say let's have a little bit more open mind about what the halftime show is going to look like, because Bad Bunny, by all accounts, is this awesome performer. Maybe you don't need to understand what he's saying. It's music. It's a universal language. Can we at least see the halftime show before we decide to hate on it? And if we don't like it, then fine. Go all in and say how much you despise it. But I remember a couple of years ago, when Snoop Dogg and Kendrick and 50 Cent all did it, people were mad about that they couldn't understand them. That's English. And people still liked it. I don't know. I'm just so out on being out on the halftime show before it even happens.
Yeah, I mean, the Super Bowl halftime show to me, I've just always been like, I'm a football person. I care about football rather than who's singing at halftime.
This is John's take.
Like,
that
I
the
don't
halftime
really
show's
care.
not for the football fans.
It's not. I mean, the Super Bowl in general is not. And I think it's a fair take. And
conference championship. That's where the real football fans thrive.
It's just like the same people who are complaining about the halftime show are the same people who complain about the dunk contest. Like, it's that group of people that are just so out on. Like, they have all these biggest takes about non-actual sports that are taking place. Everyone just chooses whether or not they like the halftime show the second the person is announced, like you said. It doesn't matter how the show actually goes. When Kendrick Lamar was announced as it, everyone's out. Like, oh, yeah, no, people were either loving it or they're hating it before it even happens.
See, I absolutely love Kendrick Lamar. Favorite artist of all time. I thought the halftime show was fine. Like, it was okay.
Yeah. I also just don't think a lot of them are that good anyways.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard to do this humongous performance in 10 minutes. Like when you're so used to having these big, giant concerts that last forever.
But at least Bad Bunny sings. I feel like the last couple of years they've got away from people who sing. Rappers are just tough for the live performances for Super Bowl stuff. That's my type of music, but I think it's just harder to pull off. Like, I thought Snoop Dogg, the halftime show was terrible on Christmas. Just like he's just talking into a microphone. At least Bad Bunny sings.
I just think that people, especially the NFL fandom in general, they just pick and choose the artists that they like before the show even comes, whether or not they're going to like the halftime show. So,
I think Bieber's next in line. I know everyone says Swift. I don't think she's ever going to do it.
Too far gone for Bieber, maybe, though?
Too far. No. I think now we're in the territory where Bieber's approval rating is higher than it ever has been. And
you think so? I think people are out on Bieber.
No, I think Bieber
With
used
his
to be so
relationship
controversial.
stuff? I don't know, man.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't think people really like Bieber with that whole situation.
Bieber used to just be so controversial, and he was also always a kid. Like that's
Well,
not
yeah,
that's not
a
the
good
case
point.
anymore. I feel like he's now hit an age where like it's not out of the realm of possibility for him to do one. I know people throw around
Right.
Drake, Taylor Swift. There's all these
Bieber,
like pop
who
artists.
also like notoriously dislikes the media and being in the spotlight nowadays.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
I don't know if he'd do that. I think
I feel
Sabrina
like anybody-
Carpenter is just for sure the next one.
Sabrina Carpenter.
I think she's for sure the next big name that will come. I mean, Bad Bunny obviously is now, but like, my guess would be Sabrina Carpenter's the next one. But you're right. I mean, her getting it before Swift feels wrong.
Or Bieber. I feel like
I just don't think- I
Sabrina
think Bieber
Carpenter's
was-
too young.
I bet Bieber's been asked and has said no. That's my opinion.
Carpenter hasn't been doing this long enough. Get in line. Get in line, Sabrina Carpenter. You're not next in line to do the Super Bowl halftime
Jump to
show.
fame too fast, like Pat McAfee, man. Just skipped everybody.
Yeah, like, not saying she's not talented, but there's a lot more people that are more deserving. Like, I'd rather have Bruno Mars do a second one, or The Weeknd, honestly, who got like screwed out of his
The Weeknd's
2020
was
Super
good,
Bowl
man.
one. It was okay.
Like for what he was, the card he was dealt, you know.
yeah, he needs a second chance.
I think Bad Bunny should do it again next year.
How much has widespread sports betting and fantasy football intruded on players' lives? I guess this isn't really one that you and I can answer because this is for the players.
No, I know it's really. I mean, we can talk about our lives though. I mean, like,
I love it.
yeah, I think it rocks.
It actually, well, I think it rocks, but year in, year out, I just never win my fantasy leagues. And then it's like, why do I spend so much time and energy and attention
Sure.
to this league that I just end up giving
I will say though,
money
like,
to every year?
this is a good time to at least talk about fantasy football. A lot of like really diehard NFL fans are almost like out on fantasy football.
That's a
because it's
stupid
just,
take.
I think it's a stupid take because
Bad zag.
It just adds like the casual person to have interest in football. And
Yeah.
fantasy football is just a good way to like see who's doing good, you know?
Last question. What player would make the best flag football player?
We're getting this in the Olympics, so that this is a good question.
Not in what, February,
Well,
Summer Olympics.
Yes, of course not.
I think before this year I would have said Lamar Jackson. And that might still be the answer. But he did have a down year, the injuries. He just didn't really feel like the cheat code that he had the last few years. So maybe it's not. It's not. I don't think it can be Josh Allen. Like
No, I think we're going about this completely wrong. I think it's just the little fast dude.
like Khalif
Like
Raymond.
I think it's Devon Achane.
What about Gibbs? Why wouldn't it just be Gibbs?
It could be Gibbs too, but Achane is small. Like being small benefits you. Like Achane is pretty small. Him or like Bucky Irving is another good one. These guys are just really tiny guys that are super fast and shifty. Like Gibbs at least is kind of big, you know?
I guess I'm out on the I guess I'm gonna have to deep dive the rules. I've got 2 years to do
Right,
it. But
yeah,
can
I
the
have no
quarterbacks
idea.
just take off whenever?
I don't think so because you like when you used to play flag football, you couldn't. The quarterback just couldn't take off immediately.
Okay, then maybe Lamar's not the number one choice.
I don't know,
Although
though.
Having a guy who can run around is definitely solid. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it's Gibbs. Maybe dude, you know who it could be? It could just be J-Mo.
Could be J-Mo.
Fastest receiver in
Yeah,
the league.
just get him the ball in the open. You're not picking his flag.
And depending on how physical they let you be, like a guy like Amon-Ra is not that like it's not crazy because he can get open versus anybody.
Catches everything too.
Well, had 5 drops
really
this year.
more. Yeah. Well, why are we even talking about this? We don't even know anything about anything. So.
All right, that is around the league. Got a good old friend John Vicari who's going to join us here coming up for the 11 o'clock hour, which is, as always, brought to you by Yiter Insurance Group. We've got a lot of good stuff still coming up. I want to jump back into the Michigan State conversation because this is officially confirmed the best matchup from a ranking standpoint that these two schools have ever had, ever, all time. I want to do a little bit more on the Detroit Lions. Penei Sewell he's insane. And I could talk about Penei Sewell for hours. So if you want to hear Penei Sewell glaze, I would continue listening. And the fact that Michigan's still the favorites, I think it's just a little bit surprising in that matchup tomorrow. We did talk about Giannis earlier this hour about whether or not the Pistons should trade for him. I think we're going to jump back into that as well. A lot coming up on the 11 o'clock hour. As always, brought to you by Yiter Insurance. We'll take a step away, come back maybe a few minutes before 11 o'clock because we're not on the radio, so we can choose whenever we come back. It's up to us. That's the beauty of of the next couple of weeks. So this is the Ben Bosscher Show, live here on YouTube and Facebook. Midland Area Community Foundation, got to tell you about them. They're dedicated to strengthening our community through generosity and connection, supporting local nonprofits, scholarships, and projects that make Midland a better place to live, work, and play. Your donation helps fund vital programs in education, health, the arts, and more right here at home. Partner with the foundation to leave a lasting legacy and create positive change for generations to come. Get involved, give back, or learn more at midlandareacf.org. Together we build a stronger Midland, one gift, one idea, and one heart at a time. Welcome back in. Ben Bosscher Show, live here on YouTube, live here on 100.9 The Minute, right here behind this wall. They're working on the new studio. How many days in a row can I say that before it's like, okay, we get it, they're working on the new studio? I feel like we're already approaching that, and it's only day 2.
Yeah.
But I got to let everyone know that this isn't the permanent setup. This isn't where we're going to be the whole time. We are lucky to have John Vicari with us now, who's going to give us his thoughts on Michigan versus Michigan State. John, I honestly think it's a little crazy that Michigan State is underdogs at home to Michigan. They've got the better point guard. They've got the offense that I trust more with 2 minutes left. In general, I think I trust Michigan's offense more. But when there's 2 minutes left in a close game, I at least know for a fact that Michigan State has a guy to go to in Jeremy Fears. I don't really know who the alpha is on Michigan. I don't know who the guy in the huddle is that's saying, give me the ball, I got us. It feels like they're so Dusty May reliant that maybe that actually ends up hurting them when there's like 30 seconds left in the game and Jeremy Fears is unstoppable down the stretch of this. They've got the number 1 defense in the entire country. They don't lose home games. They haven't lost a home game to Michigan since 2018. I think the more I look at this, I'm leaning more towards the Spartans.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. First off, it was either me or the Three Rivers construction guy, so I appreciate you bringing me on for this.
I have a lot of questions for them.
You should. I think we should have him on, maybe tomorrow. Jam-packed show, what a teaser. But no, I mean, in terms of this matchup, you could talk about, and I agree with you in terms of Fears being a better closer, and you could talk about, skill versus skill. At least the matchup at the President's Center last year, what was the determining factor was the physicality, especially late in that game. That was the difference. I mean, am I crazy to say that Michigan last year had the better squad skill-wise? I don't think so. I mean, Danny Bolt's right now in the NBA, and I know he's a net, so no one cares, but he's getting solid minutes. Golden was a stud. That Michigan team had guys that were tournament good and had experience in it, but they weren't Michigan versus Michigan.
John, I'm going to cut you off. I apparently your mic is not working. That is what I've been told. So I appreciate you trying to come on. We'll try to get your mic fixed up here momentarily, but I guess I'll keep this thing rolling for now. So if Michigan State is to continue, to play the style of basketball, they get Jeremy Fears in the building. I don't know. It just seems like a really tough task for Michigan to stop that because, again, this month Jeremy Fears has been borderline unstoppable. 19 points a game, 9 assists per game. He has been decimating opponents down the stretch of these games. So if he gets comfortable down in the paint, I have a feeling he's going to – what if Yaxel, I think more so Mara, what if Mara just gets into a ton of foul trouble in this game? That could be extremely concerning if I'm a Michigan Wolverine because Fears is just going to be able to navigate through Cadeau or whoever they put on him, Burnett. He's going to be able to squeeze by him. He's going to be able to get to the line. Is Michigan here's the other thing, guys. Michigan's not a great free throw shooting team. Ade Mara's 40% from the line right now. He can't make 2 in a row to save his life. So what happens if Michigan State decides to go Hakamara? I think there's just too many things going in favor for the Michigan Wolverines in this one. I don't know. I think I'm leaning a little bit more towards Sparty every single day the more that I stare at this. I get it. Michigan, the way that they were playing in November was truly unbelievable. It looked like they were pacing to be one of the greatest college basketball teams ever. They've faded off. And even on Tuesday with a win over Nebraska, we find out that they're a little bit more beatable than we necessarily thought at the beginning of this season. I don't think anyone thinks they're this team that's unworldly anymore. That hasn't been who Michigan State has been. So if this is going to be the new norm, then I guess I think Michigan State is just on the same level as Michigan, at least in a head-to-head matchup, especially at the Breslin Center, one of the true home court advantages in college basketball. If I'm being asked who goes on a further tournament run, yeah, I'm probably saying Michigan. If I'm saying who wins this head-to-head matchup on Friday, I think the answer is clearly Michigan State because of Jeremy Fears, because of the home court advantage, because of a couple other factors too, but those being the 2 most important ones. There's not, to me, a team that's going to go into the Breslin Center in the Big Ten and pick up wins like that, especially with Tom Izzo knowing what's at stake, knowing it's a rivalry game, knowing that Dusty May hasn't really treated this like a rivalry game at all. He's treated it like just some other game. I think that goes well for Michigan State, who's going to be up for the challenge on this one. I am very much looking forward to it. That goes without saying. I'm looking forward to the matchup tomorrow night. This is going to be electric college basketball, electric Big Ten hoops. This is something we've had our calendars marked since November, and I think one thing we know for sure is back in November, we thought this was like, oh my God, does Michigan State even have a fighting chance to win this game? And the answer was no. Now the answer is yes. It's a 1.5 point spread, and I think my official prediction as of Thursday morning is going to be Michigan State to win and obviously cover that spread too if they're going to win. So I've got the Spartans early on this one. That's the way I'm leaning right now. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, live here on 100.9 The Mitt. Let me tell you about Go Great Lakes Bay. Looking for something fun to do in the Great Lakes Bay region? You got to check out Go Great Lakes. They've got you covered from festivals and live music to outdoor adventure, great food, and family-friendly events. GoGreatLakesBay.org is your one-stop guide for the Great Lakes Bay region, whether you're a weekend warrior or you're trying to make last-minute plans. Get out, explore local, and go Great Lakes. We're live right here on YouTube. You guys can like and subscribe. Trying to get some technical difficulties figured out right now. It's the beauty of not being in the studio. You guys get to work along with us through these very difficult times. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, live here on 100.9 The Mitt.
Testing. Testing. Yeah, it's...
All right, welcome back into the show. I think we got our technical difficulties figured out. John, can we hear you?
Ben, can you hear me? Yes, you can, says Kyle Sandel. So
Yeah.
thanks for having me on. I mentioned earlier, but you couldn't hear me. It was between me or the Three Rivers Construction guys who are rebuilding our studios as our special guests today, and Ben chose me, which I appreciate greatly.
It was a coin flip.
Yeah, it was a coin flip. Tomorrow we should have one of them on. I think that would be good radio. See what they're doing. See, how their measuring's going. Anyway, in terms of Michigan State versus Michigan, last year's matchup, in my opinion, specifically the Breslin, I mean, that's the game that I think everyone remembers just because of the build-up going in. That was the first installment of the two, and Michigan came in, obviously, with a lot of hype. May, Golden, Danny Wolf, too. It was a juggernaut, it felt like, and would Michigan State be able to be up to the test? And they were physicality-wise. I think Michigan, like last year, has more of the star power, has more guys that have a chance at being NBA good or at least NBA rostered comparatively to Michigan State, but not guys who have played in that rivalry. And I go back to the show, Ben, that you did with Kyle, and it's honestly when I knew this show that you two do was going to work because it was a payoff, it was you two, it was a Friday, and you basically argued for a straight hour about Michigan State. It was awesome. Kyle, obviously Michigan State, and you felt Michigan was going to win that game, and Kyle kept bringing up, this isn't FAU versus FIU, and it's the physicality that's going to come down to it. So for Michigan, and maybe it's an unfair judgment of them because all they've done is whoop butt of everyone that they've played and dominated in the Big Ten, but you don't know with this Michigan roster until you see them in a Michigan versus Michigan State game where a good number of the Spartans, are battle-tested in this rivalry matchup and have passed the test. So do I think Michigan's the more skilled team, like has better players? Yes. Do I think Michigan State's the more battle-tested? Yes, and that's what makes tomorrow fun and one of the better regular season games, not just in the Big Ten, but in college basketball this year. I mean, to have them both in the top 10, we're going to keep hyping it up. It's on our air, what have you, but it's going to be having the eyes of the nation that cares about college basketball. And on a Friday night, too, with nothing else, it's going to have a lot of interest.
Are we all leaning Michigan State? Because that would actually freak me out. I'd be majorly freaked out if all of us are leaning Michigan State.
It's like the ESPN desk when all the people pick the same team.
Kind of what feels like is happening right now.
So pick the Wolverines, man.
I'm not going to just switch based on that, but
come on,
that's what
they're
I was
favorites.
I was going to ask you that in the last segment. Like you were just basically saying, like, yeah, I'm leaning Michigan State right now, and you said that could change in 24 hours. Okay, then what's going to make it change? Because like if you're leaning Michigan State right now, then like why would you think differently a day from now when there's nothing in between that would change your opinion?
I honestly don't think it's going to change.
I
feel like since 9 o'clock, I've talked myself into picking the Spartans tomorrow.
I'm obviously going to pick the Spartans. Like that's just not even a debate there. Like I'm not the guy that's going to switch over, so it's got to be one of you two.
John,
man, maybe I'll dig into some stuff tonight, but
it's in the Breslin. Like that's the part. That's the part that I think makes this so tough. Is like Michigan hasn't won there since 2018.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite some time, man. And this is the best defensive team in the country in MSU and the best home atmosphere. Like you're just telling me they're going to lose that game?
They also got punked there last year.
Right.
Yes.
They got punked at their own home floor too. Like both games they did. But
I mean, this is a better team. I mean, and they've shown that through the course of the regular season.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just until you see it. I mean, we're still under the opinion, too, and not to jump the gun to go to the second game before we get to the first, but I think it's been reflective in, comments on our social media pages and the YouTube chat right now. Michigan State fans, Michigan fans, we're feeling split on the season series, right? When this game's the Chrysler Center, Michigan's going to win. But it's not what always happens. It's not what happened last year, right? I mean, so, like, I think that's the thought process. It's just, like, the Breslin's just such a great home court advantage. And I think we'd be thinking different if the first Michigan State game was at U of M. But that first dose of it being at the Breslin, it's hard to pick Michigan, in my opinion. And they're favorites, but maybe Vegas knows something we don't. They usually do.
I don't think they should be favorites.
Yeah. What would you put the spread if you were handicapping it there, Ben? -2.5?
Michigan State -1.5.
Okay, so you just flip the line, right? Because it's 1.5.
It might
Michigan.
flip. I mean, there's a chance it does. If people are all over MSU, then I could totally see this moving at some point.
But I don't think maybe people in this state might be all over. I still don't. I think people are just going to smash Michigan.
I think
you got to recognize too. It's just a more national brand. More people are. They have to have some sort of protection on themselves, and when they make these spreads.
I disagree. Not with basketball. MSU is a much bigger national brand basketball-wise than Michigan is.
Ooh, let's get into this, Ben.
Michigan
so.
as a whole, I'll agree with you. But like,
I think that just trumps it.
if we're talking hoops, like MSU hoops is everywhere, man. They have fans everywhere. I mean, they have Tom Izzo as their coach. Like,
I'm not saying they're not like infamous, but
could people around the country?
They're
name
not
who-
infamous. That's crazy.
Could people around the country name Michigan's coach?
yes, it's Dusty May.
Oh, it's Dusty
Hey,
May. It's a household name.
Guys,
Dusty
the talk
May.
show host in Michigan got his name right.
Yeah, it's freaking Dusty May. Of course, everyone knows him.
I think there's just way more people that are like, oh, I like Michigan. I'm just taking them in this game, and I feel like that they've got to protect themselves from that. The books a little bit, which is the same reason you see Yankees always in the mix for World Series, Dodgers too, Chiefs always get an extra point and a half. I feel like Michigan that just still apply. I mean, why do we think that they? It's part of the reason that even though they weren't destroying teams by 30 every single week, they were still favored by 17.5 every week, it felt like, regardless of if they're playing on the road or at home in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they're favored in this game. It's because of that. They're still living off of what they did in November. Like, that's just continued to be the reason why they've been favored by so much.
I don't think they're favored if they lose to Nebraska. I mean, that being their latest win,
you're right.
too, boosts them. Like, we could talk about closing, and we could talk about, Jeremy Fears being the best closer, Michigan State knowing how to win. They needed to go OT with Rutgers. I know it's in Piscataway, underrated environment, I've been in that environment, but
John thinks it's underrated.
But it's not.
Rutgers is underrated.
It's not Purdue. It's not Michigan State. It's not Indiana. It's Rutgers. It's the team. As I was talking to Austin Johnson, our ticket office yesterday. It's the team that you brought into the Big Ten to have the New York market. Quote unquote.
Smart guy, Austin Johnson is.
He is. It was a trap game. Izzo said it, and then they got trapped. They shouldn't have needed overtime to beat Rutgers. While Michigan, I know they were at home, took down a Nebraska team that maybe in a couple weeks we won't view as world beaters, but at the time, top 10 team. In a comeback fashion, but I mean, right? Like, you were impressed with both of their wins, but you should have been more impressed with Michigan's. You watched them both, man. I saw both TVs.
I was more impressed with Michigan's overall win, but down the stretch of Michigan State's win, when it was like, okay, Jeremy Fears really has arrived as like maybe the best point guard in the country, second best point guard in the country, maybe behind Braden Smith. That is now like we thought he was maybe headed towards that. He's there in my eyes, and I feel like that is almost a second win for Michigan State, and maybe the biggest reason I'm feeling like Michigan State's going to come out on top is Jeremy Fears being the X factor.
Yeah.
But then again, Kyle and I agreed yesterday. Jeremy Fears can't be the X factor for Michigan State. It's got to be their 3-pointers. If Michigan State's going to they won this game because blank, it's because they're going to hit 10 threes. Like once in a while, once every 5 games, they're just a lights out 3-point shooting team. And if that happens tomorrow, I think it's just done. Like I don't think there's anything Michigan can do to stay in it. And by the way, the last 5 games for Michigan, they're shooting 28% from 3. That's not good.
Does that mean they're in a skid, or does that mean that they're due?
Oh.
That's the tough part with that.
Or it just means they don't have a lot of great 3-point shooters on their team.
Yeah,
I mean,
but can you say the same thing for Michigan, though? Like when you say if MSU is going to – if they knock down a ton of threes, then it's probably game over, MSU's going to win. What if it's the flip side? What if Michigan knocks down a ton of threes?
Michigan's not a high-volume shooting 3 team, though.
Yeah, I mean, neither of them really are.
No, not exactly. And Michigan State couldn't hit a 3 to save their lives against Rutgers for the longest time. Kohler was 1 for 6, right? That was painful.
I mean, when your best 3-point shooter is your big, like that kind of just tells the whole story with MSU.
Who do we think starts at the 2 tomorrow for MSU?
I don't know. They've gone really, really mixing things up with. I think their best guy to start at the 2 is Divine Ugachukwu.
So
the problem is because he's their backup point guard. So if he's not the backup point guard, if he's starting, then it's Wojcik, the white kid that is truly one of the worst college basketball players in all of Division I.
I mean, Steven Izzo?
It is a guy that actually plays, though, is what I'm saying. Like, for a guy that actually gets run, Like, it's really frustrating. And if he plays in that game against Michigan, like, I'm just going to be melting on my couch watching that happening. So,
dude, you guys got to be – if you two go down to East Lansing and Carson Cooper and Wojcik are at a bar, it's going to be a fight, man. It really is. It's going to be 2-on-2.
love
That's
Wojcik's
crazy.
dad, man. He might take over for Izzo someday. But Denham, the player, man, he is just man, he's something else.
I've got Kyle and I for sure.
That's
that fight.
crazy. That's crazy.
They have the size advantage on
At
us.
least, unless we just need like some sort of handicap. Like Kyle and I each get to start the fight with a 2x4 in our hands.
Jeez. Oh my
I mean, I don't want to do
goodness.
all that, man.
That's
Like,
crazy.
I'm rooting for these guys to win,
Yeah.
man. This seems a little bit rough.
989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Mitt. It's a Thursday, and you know, sometimes you get in an accident this time of the year with the snow. And if you're looking for a new car, I got the perfect place for you. Garber Chevrolet. I can tell you from firsthand experience that they make buying a car extremely easy. I bought my first car there last summer. The whole process was extremely easy, smooth, no stress, just straightforward. I didn't know what I was doing, but I didn't feel like I was being taken advantage of. They walked me through it, made me understand every step of the way. Whether you want a new whip or a quality used vehicle, the team's got the know-how to treat you right and get you an awesome deal. That is Garber Chevrolet, a place you can actually trust to purchase your next ride. You know what we haven't done yet today is hit the news. So without further ado, here is the mid-morning catch. Hit the music, Kyle. Take it away. What's going on in the news?
All right, let's go. It's time for the news, mid-morning catch. Yeah, you said not a lot of news going on a Thursday. You know, it's usually this time of year is kind of hit or miss for how much news we got going on. But let's get right into it. We got some basketball on tonight. Pistons are back in action. They take on the Suns at 9. That was a fun game the last time they played the Suns. Like a comeback-type win. Dylan Brooks went off. Devin Booker didn't play. No Booker again tonight. How are we feeling about it?
I think it's tough to look. This Suns team, they're maybe the only team in the league that plays harder than the Pistons. Like, they're aggressive. They're coming at you. Active hands. They just outplay everybody. Like, they out-hustle everybody. But no Devin Booker once again tonight for the Pistons. I have a hard time thinking of Devin Booker-less Suns, even at home, is able to hang in there with the Detroit Pistons. They did it in LCA. I don't think it's going to happen twice, right? Now that the Pistons kind of know what they're walking into, like, okay, these guys are punks. They think they can get us. They're not going to get us. Now we're ready to bring the energy. Because what? It took J.B. Bickerstaff getting a tech and then Duncan Robinson getting a tech in that game for them to, like, kind of light a fighter under their butts and be ready to play.
Right.
I think they know right away what they're walking into with this one. So I think the Pistons are picking up a second straight win on the road tonight.
Yeah, I think so. We got some breaking news, too.
Ooh, I was about to say with Pistons Suns, by the way, though, this game is on the mitt tonight. So
hey, it's on the mitt.
If you want to listen.
Even though we're not on the mitt, they're on the mitt.
That's tough.
Interesting.
That's tough.
Now, the breaking news is that John has a duck.
It's a loon.
Yeah, what's going on over there?
Oh, it's a loon, of course.
Yeah.
He's got a loon on his shoulder. It's a YouTube-only show. Everybody can see it here.
That's pretty
now.
cool.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool.
I'm balancing it well.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's pretty good act you got going on.
I feel good that I interrupted your breaking news, though, because I thought it was a real news story. I felt bad.
No,
it's me and this loon.
Before the Pistons Suns, that's on at 9 p.m. tonight. You got the Red Wings back in action. They haven't played in a few days. They have the Capitals tonight at 7:30. Might be on ESPN. I think I saw it. Actually, I think it's just ESPN Plus. Yeah, just ESPN Plus tonight, though, for the Wings.
Wings are on ESPN against the Avalanche at 1 o'clock on Saturday, though.
Ooh.
A little primetime matchup.
They'll sell that as a West Conference rivalry, even though the Red Wings aren't there anymore. That was so fun, too, about the last game they played on ABC against the Penguins, right? I don't know if you saw the ESPN promos for it. It was like, oh, this iconic rivalry in the Eastern Conference. No, it wasn't. When they matched up in the Cup in 08 and 09, the Red Wings were in the West, and Pittsburgh was in the East. It's not an iconic East Conference rivalry. They had two great Stanley Cups, awesome cinema, both of them. Obviously, Red Wings fans remember one better than the other because you won, but they weren't. It wasn't a conference rivalry. They were in different conferences. So, but, you know, ESPN didn't cover hockey, so it didn't exist to them, and that's why they made the mistake. Anyway, but the Avalanche was their rival.
Me and Ben were thinking the same thing.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was
No,
thinking.
there's probably someone in this YouTube chat who knows what I'm talking about.
Okay, this game is ESPN Plus and Hulu, by the way. You can watch NHL on Hulu?
Ooh.
I didn't know that.
Hulu has live sports, Kyle.
Oh, like Baker Mayfield used to say.
Dave
Okay,
Dalla.
if you do want to
Hulu
watch
doesn't just have live sports, it's a lifestyle.
If you want to watch some college basketball tonight, you do have Illinois-Washington tonight at 9. That's the lone game going on in the Big Ten. Illinois, of course, is going to be playing against Michigan and Michigan State before the season ends, and they're coming off a huge win against Purdue. So they're atop the mix in the Big Ten. You're going to want to keep up with them, but I know everyone's more excited about the game for Friday. Okay, Super Bowl news. Drake May? Wait, is Drake May injured?
No.
Drake May is listed as limited this week in practice prior to the Super Bowl. Are you worried, Ben?
No. He's got 2 weeks to figure. What is he even listed as limited with?
Don't know.
It's just limited.
He's just limited, yeah.
I think it's fine. I think he's going to be totally fine. You know, if Sam Darnold was limited and then didn't throw a football for 5 days, whatever's going on with Drake May, I think he's going to be okay. Which was still the biggest rope-a-dope we've ever had from Adam Schefter. Thanks a lot, Bozo.
One of the 1,000 you could pick from too. I mean, there's just so many Schefter moments you could choose from. Have you given any opinion on the Super Bowl quite yet? Or are you just kind of holding off on that? Yeah, like you have any early vibes that you're leaning?
So, like initially when we got our matchup, I felt like what everyone else was thinking. I don't know how the Patriots are going to score on the Seattle defense because New England had looked bad for 3 straight weeks. Their offense couldn't do anything in the snow. Obviously, this game's not going to be played in the snow, but they couldn't do anything against Denver's defense. They couldn't. I don't think Drake May played very good against the Texans. Had like 3 turnovers in that game as well. And then going back to their week 1. Oh, against the Chargers. Yeah, I guess they looked pretty good in that one. But that was mostly because their defense rocked. I don't think Drake May's been that great in the playoffs. But I feel like everyone's now picking Seattle. So maybe we're writing off the Patriots a little too much. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the tough spot I'm in because I just am super leaning Seattle.
Everybody is, though.
Everybody is, and I've been so bad in the playoffs as far as picking these teams. So that's the one part that I don't know. I'm scared about it for sure. Okay, this is where John comes into the news. We got some New York Yankees news. Wait,
Really, do
what? Yeah, Brian Cashman pushes back on this notion that the Yankees running back their same roster is not enough. He was being criticized for the Yankees not making really any moves this offseason. He says this is a World Series roster. Who do we feel better about going into 2026? The Tigers or the Yankees?
That's crazy.
Who do we feel better about? Both teams are basically running back their same teams.
You say that. There's a caveat. The Yankees are going to have a healthy Garrett Cole.
And the
Right.
Tigers are going to have a healthy...
Okay, well, last year they both had...
I was just trying to think of some bad player that got
like
injured.
this is what I can guarantee to the people. I can't guarantee stats, wins, losses, ERAs. I can guarantee Garrett Cole will be a Yankee in October. I can't guarantee Derek Skubal will be a Tiger in October. That's the difference in terms of comparing both those teams. Is it enough for the Yankees? No.
He'll be a
And-
Tiger in October. It's a
Will
matter
he?
of will he be a Tiger in December, I think
Will
is
he?
the question. Yeah, I think he will be.
So he's not dealt to the deadline.
Oh, my God. If Tarek Skubal's dealt at the deadline when the Tigers are competing in a division...
What if
I'm
they're
gonna-
not competing, though? Like that would be the case for trading him at the deadline. If they're not competing, you have to trade him at the deadline.
I'll take a baseball bat to our new studio if they trade
Oh
him
my
in the middle of
God.
the season.
I
That would
would-
be insane.
I don't think you should do that.
Ben, I brought this up when Kyle and I did the show. Even if they're competing, they might still trade him. You have to get value for him. You have
I'd rather
to.
let him walk than trade
That's
him.
you can't say that.
That's why I'm not the GM.
I know, but like
You got to at least try in this year's postseason. You can't just trade him in the middle of the year if you're even semi-competitive
you
in
have
the
good
division.
pitching. Trying is just okay. We're gonna get weaknesses
You don't know if
that
you have
aren't
the pitching.
Skubal.
You're banking on Troy Melton to come through and all of a sudden deliver you the best year he's ever had in his career. You're banking on Jackson Jove to come back. Once
That's
you lose
the
Tarek
philosophy of the
Skubal,
Tigers, though.
once you lose Tarek Skubal, your rotation becomes very average, extremely average.
I wouldn't agree with
No,
that.
it's good stuff. It's good
I
stuff,
mean,
fellas.
it's you're losing the Cy Young, but I still think they're a good rotation.
back-to-back
They're just
Cy
not
Young.
a great rotation without him.
better than Garrett Cole, that's for sure.
They don't have a single ace. They don't have a single ace if he leaves. Like their best pitchers, what? Casey Mize?
No, you're right.
Reese Olson?
No, you're
Troy
right.
Melton? We're banking on him, even though he's never thrown more than like 100 innings in a season. Get out of here.
Steven in the Facebook chat says we're the quarter zip boys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
good. I like that. Okay, last night LeBron went back to Cleveland. It's been obviously a few times he's played back in Cleveland, but people, I don't know. They're throwing around that this might be his last game in Cleveland. We don't think LeBron is retiring at the end of the year still, right? I mean, why?
No.
There's no way anyone believes that, but nonetheless, it was pretty emotional, him going back to Cleveland. An awesome tribute video for him there. The Lakers got blown out by the Cavs, and Jalen Tyson for Cleveland did this whole thing of, this is Donovan Mitchell's city, not LeBron's city. Okay, man.
Who did that?
Jalen Tyson, one of the bench guys on Cleveland.
That's awesome.
Just
Okay,
to,
man.
Yeah, like, okay, man. Like, sure. And Donovan Mitchell looked at him like, what are you saying right now? You know, so, but nonetheless, it was
Don't disrespect the king, man.
yeah, it was a cool moment, though, for LeBron.
I think the only chance that LeBron ends up retiring at the end of the season, if like he announces before the regular season ends, like, yeah, this is my last season.
I agree.
There's no way we don't know when LeBron's last game is.
And I've seen this whole yes, I'm with you. This whole take where like people are like, well, LeBron's gonna want a farewell tour because he wants all the spotlight. Yeah, of course he's gonna want a farewell tour, man. He's LeBron James. Like, why are we acting like it's some selfish thing for him to announce his retirement so we can get a farewell tour? Like, everybody does that. He's one of the best players ever, if not the best. Like, I don't know. I
Yeah,
think
nobody
that's-
hated it when Kobe did it.
Nobody hated it when Dwayne Wade did it. Like all these other guys. Why are we giving LeBron crap for a farewell tour?
Because LeBron is the most criticized athlete in the history of sports. History. Over criticized.
If there's a retirement tour, the Knicks better not give him anything, bro. No present. I swear. If they give him something, I'm going to be pissed.
The Pistons
Nothing.
probably shouldn't either.
Give him
though,
a pat
you know,
on the
like-
back. Hey, thanks for always dropping 50 whenever he entered the building, and that's it.
Yeah, the Pistons should not give him anything either, you know? Hey, thanks for ending basically our good run of basketball for 15 years.
And then when we made
We
the playoffs
acknowledge
at
you.
one time with Andre Drummond and Reggie Jackson, thanks
Yes.
for just like humbling us
Thanks for sweeping
Extremely.
us. Yeah, exactly. All right, a couple more things in the news. Tom Brady, he is not happy about Bill Belichick not being in the Hall of Fame. He says it's a shame and it's wrong. We haven't gotten your take on this, John, but Ben was you were agreeing with Tom Brady here, right? You didn't think he was.
I think this is simply due to what has happened at North Carolina. I think that's it.
That he's not in the halls because of North Carolina? It's the Pro Football Hall of Fame, not the college. He could have lost 12 games in North Carolina. No, this is 100% Bill Polian and all the people that lose being sore losers. This is the fun thing about Hall of Fames. And I hold the Baseball Hall of Fame higher than the Pro Football and the other sports. The Baseball Hall of Fame always gets flack because it's, the writers, they complain if a guy's, mean to them and they're not going to vote for them. You have the Pro Football Hall of Fame that's determined by the peers, right? Bill Polian, who had to face him in how many divisional and conference championships, and other people in that group. And they voted against Belichick because they're still not over their losses. So who should be voting for these Hall of Fames? Journalists who actually cover the sport or the athletes? Well, athletes would recognize greatness better than people who didn't play. Well, obviously not, because he's the best coach ever, and he's not in the Hall of Fame as a first ballot Hall of Famer. What are we doing? Crazy. If it was journalists, he's in. And the worst thing, too, he's not even a bad guy. You talk about character. Is there scandals, Deflategate? Sure.
He's not a bad guy.
Well, this is the thing.
He's dating a 24-year-old. Does that have anything to do with
He's
it?
dating a woman that is 50 years younger than him.
But how do we quantify?
That doesn't make you a bad guy.
How do we quantify bad guy?
Doesn't make you a good guy.
That's the best part, right? Like, and I was, I was talking to my dad last night on the phone about the Hall of Fames. The Baseball Hall of Fame just put in two guys, Carlos Beltran and Andrew Jones.
Yeah,
Carlos Beltran
cheated.
Right, in terms of that, was part of the banging on the garbage can scandal with the Astros, and he was the only player named in the documents talking about it. No one else was. Bregman wasn't, Altuve wasn't. Okay, he's in. Andrew Jones beat up his wife. So, great player, maybe the best defensive center fielder since Willie Mays, waited 7 years, and I guess the punishment for that was, all right, beat up your wife, wait 7 years, but we're still going to put you in because there's not a lot of guys, at least for the 2026 class. So, if we're quantifying Belichick, is he a bad enough guy to not be a first ballot Hall of Famer? That's what it comes down to. Do you think he cheated with Deflategate? Do you think, in terms of the cheating with just the footage that they were filming, the Jets practice and everything? I mean, we talked about Bill Polian, who's a Colts executive. The Colts, not that this ever came to light, but there was at least a belief in the NFL that they were pumping in fake crowd noise at their dome stadium during playoff games, that it was manufactured sound. That's cheating too. So, everyone wants to get on their high horse morally, and whether you like Belichick or not, his football resume is first ballot. And if he's kept out for being a bad guy, okay, but that should be kept through everyone, in terms of evaluating players. And then there's good old Eli Manning, who's a saint, and they kept him out again.
Okay.
Great.
And that's
Turn
enough.
his mic off.
Yep, it's off. That's it for the news.
All right, when we come back, we'll do our two traditions to close out every single show that we have. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mid. It's obviously been snowing a lot, so if you need to clear your driveway, I know the perfect place for you to stop. That is Ace Hardware and Sports downtown Midland. If you're a shovel person, if you're a snow blow person, doesn't matter. They've got the tools for you. Locally owned and proudly family operated right here in Midland. Take advantage of all the goodies that they have. And plus, when you're checking out, you can get a free bag of popcorn with the purchase. I took advantage of it when I went and got my my snow shovel, which I've been using on a semi-frequent basis on my driveway because, man, it has been snowing a lot. Supporting your yard, supporting your community, all in one stop. That is Ace Hardware and Sports, downtown Midland on East Main Street. All right, welcome back in. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, live here on YouTube, live here on 100.9 The Mid. We've got two traditions to close out every single show. The first of those is our lock of the day, which hit yesterday because the Spurs beat the Rockets. We're back up to positive, man. We're back up.
Yep, yes you are. You are 1.89 units up all time, so you already were positive after yesterday, which is good. You're nearly 2 units up in the Big 2-6, so pretty good start so far. You're also up on the week, 1.18 units. 10-9 all-time record, too, so you're looking to keep things going here.
All right, so today I'm looking at the Pistons game. Last time they played the Suns, we nailed it. I said Jalen Duren was going to have a double-double. And he was coming back from the minutes, so coming back from an injury, so the minutes restriction was a little bit scary. But we looked at the Jalen Duren stats when he plays Mark Williams. Dominates him, destroys him. So I think Jalen Duren's going to have another good game. He had 18 rebounds the last game, 16 points against Phoenix. I'm just taking his over 16.5 points today as my lock of the day. I think they show up with a little bit of vengeance. I think the Pistons are taking every game so personally that even the fact that it was close and that they had a lead at halftime and that they led most of the game, even though they won, I still think they're pissed off about the way that Phoenix played inside their building. I think they come in with a little bit of vengeance and punch him in the face first here because the Pistons certainly got punched in the face when Phoenix came to town and then had to respond. I think the Pistons throw the first punch tonight, and I think Jalen Duren continues to dominate this Suns team. So I'm going to go with Jalen Duren over 16.5 points.
Yeah, I think I like this pick, especially based off of how the way the game ended in Denver. Like you said, they might just kind of want to come back and take care of business here early. Phoenix is a frisky team,
sure.
And they're kind of hard to predict as well, like what's going to happen with this squad. A lot of guys that casual NBA fans don't really know, and they just win a lot of games, even with Booker out. So
they're tough.
I do think Duren, though, like you said, with Mark Williams, I think you took something with Duren that game, like you said.
Took his rebounds. Or I took him to have a double-double, which is
like
minus 180 today.
Yeah, and he absolutely hammered that. So I'm in on this pick. I've gone 0 for 3 on Taylor Fade this week, by the way.
Yikes.
I've just picked the opposite of you every time you've hit or missed, which really stinks. So
And what, I'm 2-1 right now in the week?
You're 2-1, so I went just the wrong
and what am I all time?
1.89 units up. 10-9 is your record all time, if that's what you were looking for. Yeah.
I like how you say all time instead of this year. That's nice of you. We just kind of erased
for the big 2-6.
We did the Flash.
So, yes,
we did the
exactly.
Men in Black Flash for 2025.
Yeah.
You don't remember the lock of the day from 2025. All right, second tradition.
Well, what does John think?
Tail.
Okay.
With the loon, yes.
With the loon.
What does Sarah think?
Yeah, Sarah's in the
Yeah,
studio.
Sarah, what's
Who's
your
walked
pick?
into the
Taylor Fade,
studio?
Sarah.
Taylor Fade. Taylor Fade. She doesn't even know what it is. Okay. No, that's
turn
really
her mic
good.
off, yeah.
Next
her
tradition,
mic off.
guessing what Colin opens with. Yesterday I got a point. What's the score now? 45?
Man, I don't even know.
We've just given up.
44-36 is the score. Ben got a point yesterday. I went first. It was of course it should have been Giannis. It's the biggest news in the NBA all season long, but Bill Belichick. Oh, he didn't make the Hall of Fame. Who cares about Bill Belichick?
Well, a lot of
Wow.
people care about Bill Belichick.
God, I'm just sick of it.
Kyle would have voted against him.
Sarah told me
Yep, I
yesterday I
would've-
think she's out on Bill Belichick.
Just now out on Bill Belichick, not
Yeah,
months ago.
Sarah
No.
didn't like what he did. Sarah thought he was going to make North Carolina a winner.
Yeah, that was all based on the Tar Heels season, 44-36 is the score. Ben is winning, of course, and it's his turn to go first today, which is really a tough combo there.
I'm gonna go with Giannis. I think this is just the obvious what's gonna end up happening here.
I can't believe you just did that.
Yeah, no, I'm stealing what you said yesterday, and I think he leads with it today. The other thing that he could lead with is Emmanuel Acho, potentially.
He's on Fox Sports, though.
Oh, he's not?
No,
anymore?
he is.
Oh, yeah. No, he's leading with the fact that he said, Shedeur Sanders, what could he possibly learn from Todd Monken? That was his big takeaway.
Really?
You didn't see this?
No.
He's on some dumb podcast yesterday and said,
Probably his
if I'm
own-
Shedeur Sanders,
some
why on
dumb
earth would I
podcast.
listen to what Todd Monken has to say? He's not won anything in this league.
Wow.
What an insane take.
Yeah.
Wow.
Insanity. We try to stay away from that on this show, but nonetheless, I'm going to say Giannis.
Yeah, I'm thinking like is the Australian Open got any weight to it
No,
here?
probably not.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, Kyle brings
Western
up-
Michigan's DC is now the Chargers DC. What? That's
Wait,
kinda
that
random.
straight jump?
Straight. Well, he was with the Chargers before as like the safeties coach a couple years ago. Went to be the DC at Western Michigan, and now is back with the Chargers. Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
I don't
You
know.
guys thought you had a shot at beating Western this year with the former Charger coach? That's crazy.
Okay.
Sorry.
what-
Sorry.
Who's you guys?
Yeah, who is
It's
you?
CMU
I don't
to
play
Kyle.
football. I do a radio show, man. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna pick LeBron James going to Cleveland.
That was going to be mine.
It's gonna be Giannis, and it feels.
I think it's
yeah.
going to be LeBron.
Okay. He thinks
I
it's gonna
really
be
do.
LeBron?
I don't think he's going to open with Giannis. He'll talk about I think he's going to do LeBron in Legacy. I think that plays more than, Giannis might be a Nick.
Wait, so do I get a point for John thinking my guess is better?
No.
Can he get half a
then
point?
What's the point of him being on here then?
Yeah.
Just
What
take
is
me
the
out.
point? I'm starting to wonder that too. What is the
Yep,
point of him
I'll
being
be-
on? He's
Don't
just
worry,
holding a loon.
Tomorrow will be a guy from Three Rivers. Don't worry.
Or Sarah. All right. Appreciate everyone tuning in today. We're still live on YouTube and Facebook tomorrow. We'll be live on YouTube and Facebook at least through Thursday next week, I would imagine. Maybe on Friday we get to a surprise in the new studio. But nonetheless, Monday after the Super Bowl, we'll be officially back. Thanks.